operated. The Dansby family believes that the fire was started by electrical malfunctions in the attic. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Is your business feeling the heat of cyber attacks? Tired of worrying about ransomware, data breaches, downtime, and employee mistakes? GTI Managed IT Solutions has been your trusted partner since 1999, safeguarding and supporting businesses like yours from the ever-evolving threats in the digital world. GTI, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 819-4650 or visit gtinow.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And it's a Friday free-for-all, which means the crew has assembled just in time for us to take on all the breaking news this Friday, as well as have a little fun, see wherever the conversation takes us. Eddie Bader and Craig Monger in the studio. How you two gentlemen doing?
Bye. I'm doing okay.
Just okay?
I like that hoodie, Eddie.
Like it?
Yeah.
I got an orange one too, but it looked like Kool-Aid.
What's wrong with Kool-Aid?
Nothing, but I look like the Kool-Aid man.
Oh.
It's kind of a John Fetterman look.
Why you have to go there?
Because it's just true. Why do I have to go there? Why are you saying true things, Joey? Oh, no. How dare you compare me to, like, the coolest Democrat ever?
By the way, your scarf looks dashing.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate
You look
that.
like, you look like you're about to
I
head up.
appreciate that.
You look like you're about to head up an artisanal coffee shop.
Yeah,
where,
exactly.
where they do something really pretentious, like sell you espresso foam just alone in a cup.
Yes.
And then you get to talk about the patriarchy.
Right, right. And
while
privilege
you-
in general.
Yeah, and privilege in general while you try to
Right.
figure out how to slip a roofie into the lady's latte.
Ah, Rufy Coladas.
Yeah, you think it is? Is this the male feminist who does that the most?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
No, and I thought I was down with the cause early when I was like 20, early 20s. I was like, yeah, well, not really down with the cause, more like, I understand you. I see
Yeah.
where you're coming from. I more just like to argue.
The male defender of women, like in that sort of really cringy way, that they're always the problem. I almost cracked a guy at a vape store for pulling that on me.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did he say?
I was there with my brother, and the woman working behind the counter was, what can you say on the radio that's polite? Nothing.
Yeah.
She was not nice, and she was being incredibly impolite. And my brother even said, "Do you guys know one another?" And I said, "No, she's just rude." and then she was very taken aback. "Excuse me, sir." I'm like, "No, you're being incredibly impolite. You have terrible manners. Just go on about your day." And another guy was a customer in there. He goes, "Hey man, why'd you leave her alone?"
Oh boy.
And my brother just starts laughing. Goes, please, sir, no, just please, I'm begging you, please, just stay out of it. And I didn't. We got our stuff, and on the way out, I have one line that I give to men in a conflict where I'm really trying to humiliate them. I call them pumpkin, and so I blew him a kiss and say bye bye pumpkin.
Oh yeah, that would bother.
Oh, that works.
That would
Yeah,
bother
it does.
me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm following you out the door.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
no, that really does.
that's the point of calling.
Oh, I know.
I
You're right.
want you to
Come on,
instigate
I want you-
something.
right.
Well, it always starts
you set the
sometimes with
trap.
okay, sport, and then it escalates to champ, and then it escalates to bud,
Yeah.
and pumpkin.
Pumpkin though, yeah, that's
That's something you call an adorable dog or your significant other.
or somebody
Yeah,
you're trying to lure outside.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing you can call me that's going to make me do something I don't want to do, except boy is close. Like, if you call me boy, we're getting very close.
Oh yeah, especially down here in these parts. Somebody calls you boy, you're like, what? Unless somebody's just excited and having fun. If like I've had that happen on the radio here. Somebody starts a conversation. Now,
Oh
listen
yeah,
here,
here boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I've gotten old enough where that doesn't happen as much. When I was, again, in my early 20s, that happened a lot.
Yeah.
Or it was like, well, you're just so young. And then
What do you know?
I
You're
think
so
the
young.
proportional response to that, the appropriate proportional response is, well, you're just so old.
Yeah, that is true.
Right. It cuts both ways. Like, I'm still young, so what's your excuse?
Boy is weird though because it's either incredibly insulting or makes you get the warm and fuzzies because it's like, yeah, boy.
You're
like,
right,
that-
right.
You're right.
That's perfect.
Yeah, but you said it different. That's a BOI sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, yeah, that's my boy. Like that makes you feel good
Right.
inside.
Yep, yep.
They're
Right.
like, listen here, boy. Ooh.
Well, and there's so many distinctions, like white knighting, as you were describing,
Yeah.
is one thing, but then chivalry is not. Well, it's kind of dead.
It's almost dead. It's sad. I just walking out in public.
But like truly defending somebody in need or helping somebody in need is one thing.
Yeah.
But when it's just like,
But when it's a
hey
Karen?
man, you said that was a microaggression.
Yeah, exactly. Like that used to be my favorite thing when my wife was in college. A lot of her lady friends were like flirting with us. I enjoy nothing more than really picking at that scab.
Yeah.
with like a super feministy
see
lady.
Yes.
And this is, and by the way, this is what I tell men when they were trying to get the attention of a young lady. This is what I did with my wife: is you have to offend them. Because you have to get an emotional response in there quickly. Now, are some of them going to
Not
hate
arguing.
you? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. But guess what? Who cares?
Right.
So, like,
the wrong one anyway.
get some sort of emotional reaction. I did this to my wife. I can't say exactly what I did when we were first dating. I sent her a text that was so offensive.
Yes.
That she thought about it for days.
Oh, you lived rent free for a little while.
And,
there.
that, and
Yep.
see, we talked about this later, and like years later, because we've been together for about 10 years now. At this point, we've been together for about a decade, married for like 6 years. And this was years ago, but we had been together for like 6 years at this point. And she asked me, she's like, was that intentional? I was like, yes. Because she still remembered it. And I was
living
like,
it, man.
all I
Yep.
had to do was say something sort of funny, super offensive, and I lived in your head in an emotional way for
Right.
days.
Yep.
I win.
Right.
Okay.
Usually, I know a lady likes me if she says I'm annoying. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's how it begins.
Yes, exactly.
That's how it begins.
But see, this is what I explained to my wife. It's like the line, the line between love and hate for women is paper
Very
thin.
thin.
Oh, I-
And the best
and they can bounce.
exactly,
sours.
and the best example of this is why men get offended when there's like a dude that really irritates their woman. Like if my wife were come up to me and kept obsessing about how annoying or irritating this dude was, you'd get like Eddie knows, and I'm sure you would get suspicious. Like what's up with this?
Why is he always on your mind?
Why is he always on your mind? Exactly.
Yep.
So for all the single men out there, like, don't be a D word, but you have to evoke some sort of emotion out of your woman.
Yeah, don't be a jerk.
Yeah, that's why that's why the white knights are the creepiest, because their tactic of trying to be like really understanding, it just doesn't work.
No.
So then they turn to roofies.
My favorite tactic is to be very understanding, because it's just, you've gotten to know me. This is sort of my personality. I want to understand things maybe to my own fault and peril. But then you throw a little curveball in there, or you just say something ridiculous
Yes.
and outrageous, or you act like you weren't paying attention at all. That's always a fun trick.
Yeah. It,
Eddie, is any of this ringing a bell?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
You don't like fights?
No. I mean, you get her attention. Great idea. You live rent free in the head. However, there's other ways to go about it.
like what?
There's other. I mean, you don't always have to get on their nerves.
Arranged
You can
marriages?
woo them.
Yeah.
Arranged marriage.
You can woo them. So, well, hold on, folks. We call this segment Courting Time with
No,
Master Bader.
I feel like I wooed a few women in my day. I mean,
Yeah?
I wasn't like Budell. I didn't take him gifts, before we went on a
Well,
date. or
Greg
anything,
Budell's
but
in a league of his own.
Right.
Where he bought a Corvette
Bro.
because a girl said she liked Corvettes. And he had the money at that time
Yeah,
in
the money
Miami.
it's no big deal.
Oh, Greg is amazing. He
Oh,
would
man.
always be buying gifts. He bought a woman a
VCRs.
microwave on the second date or something like
Hey,
that.
I need a new TV. What base do I have to get with Greg to get a TV out of this?
To get a VCR, you just had to agree to go on the date. He
You
showed
know
up with
it's
the
serious
VCR.
with Greg when he invites you over to his place and he's made chocolate sauce.
Oh,
And then you know you're almost family when he makes you the seafood lasagna.
Is it like a fondue, the chocolate sauce? Is it
Yes.
Yeah, and he
He
used to ride around with him
Here in
the car.
Montgomery with just a pot of chocolate,
Yeah,
like a
in the
saucepan.
passenger seat.
And I would catch him with a plastic spoon while in the middle of a pull off of Virginia Slim,
any
Love
older,
that guy.
any other older gentleman who did that would immediately be creepy. But for some reason with Greg, I don't
No, he
sense
pulls it off.
creepiness.
He pulls it off.
Pulls it off well.
Yeah, and so some people just have they're in a league of their own. They get their own rules, but it's not just that. Again, I'm understanding,
Yeah.
and especially on Fridays here, and other days as well. I've started to realize I started to feel guilty, Craig. and you too, Eddie. I mean, you're here more often. You know, I start to feel guilty. I do feel privileged. Like, I mean, look at me. I'm sure my life's different than like a 60-something-year-old black woman as a 37, 36-year-old white male. I'm sure my experiences are different. And, you know, that like maybe they're just bars of oppression that I don't see because I just blissfully go about my life, you know, looking how I am. Maybe being, you know, a guy who's interested in the ladies is...
allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
It's the rumor.
At least, like, you know...
King of the friend zone.
Like, I don't know what it's like to have to be a woman dealing with all this, the white knights and, like, the
creeps.
The jerks also.
Yeah.
Why did he say that thing to me? Like, what is this? So, I mean, and also, like, there's all this stuff coming out about, you know, Trump releasing all these files on JFK and RFK and MLK, and like all these sacred cows are being slayed, and there's a lot of triumphalist, like, you know, rhetoric going on right now. Like people sharing that South Park episode where Cartman's looking for the Mexicans. Like it's like, don't laugh because this is like, I am feeling a little guilty. So
Searching for Mexicans.
and I'm trying to figure out like what's the best way for us three here on a Friday to check our privilege and not just say it, because you can just say it.
Yeah.
Like, how do we actually atone? And I'm thinking back to my time in Catholic school where they said when you're singing, you pray twice.
That's right.
Or if you sing really well, it's like praying 3 times.
I do remember.
So it's one thing to say the words, but to really sing the words.
Joyous of the heart.
Like, that's really... So I think what we should do here is sing along to a song I found to help us atone, help us check our privilege, help us just say sorry to the liberals that maybe happen to catch this show.
You got a matching scarf.
I do. Here, let me put the scarf in the exact way she's got it.
That's perfect.
There it is.
All right. Here we go. And I encourage y'all to sing along, and she starts doing a beat on her heart like this. If y'all could join in on the beat, maybe the clap or a snap.
I'll help everyone find E flat.
I think it's in C, though.
Oh,
I think
it's in C? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you a perfect pitch?
What now?
You lucky. Anyway. Jerk.
I don't have perfect pitch, but I can throw a mean curveball. But
Hey, I see what you did there.
Is that why your elbow's all messed up? Your right elbow?
yep.
It's constantly the right one. Is that just a coincidence,
Yeah, I
Joey?
think he was. Anyway, here's the song. We're going to apologize for a privilege. And I encourage you, if you're in the car, if you're traveling to work, and especially if you're like some straight white male, it's like, I encourage you to join in. This is a safe space for us to apologize for this, get it out of our system, and then move on in the new golden age of America.
I'm ready.
All right, and so she begins with the beat, and let's listen in.
Black and indigenous
Wow.
people of color. Black and indigenous people of color. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Asian American, Pacific Islander. Asian American, Pacific Islander. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole.
Wagwan.
Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and Creole. We all have a place.
Now everybody!
In this world.
Everybody, she's gonna do it again.
Really?
Yep, here it is.
We
all
have
a place in this world. Man, if that doesn't make you just want to stare at your crotch and say bad, bad, I don't know what
would
will.
give to be 10 feet away with a snowball in my hand.
I'm just saying I feel better. Like I exercise.
You know what, Eddie? I don't think you have checked your privilege enough. Run it back. Run it back.
I really feel like I have.
Back. No, you're not repentant enough. Especially that comment from you, Craig. We got to do this right this time. All right.
Black and indigenous
people
of color.
Yep.
Black and indigenous people of color.
Lesbian, gay, bi,
She goes off beat there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, she is white.
Oh no.
It's hard, ain't it?
And queer.
Asian American Pacific Islander. I love Moana.
Asian American Pacific Islander.
Latino, Hispanic, Romani, Latino,
Hispanic, Romani.
Here it is.
We
all have a place place in this world.
One more time, everybody, out of your car.
We all have a place
in this world. Meanwhile,
Oh, wow. I feel
meanwhile, unrelated to the ice, cars have careened off into the media.
Yes.
No, that was put out this week. I think it's a jam. Man.
I think the internet and AI is going to do wonders with this piece. It's going to be a Grammy. It's going to win a
Oh,
Grammy.
definitely.
The guy who made the hit out of they're eating the cats,
Yeah.
they're eating the dogs.
Yeah, where's that guy
He
at?
tried.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and I tried this morning with my guitar, and it's like initially okay,
can't find it.
It's in C major, and I actually I was able to find the melody pretty quickly, and then when she goes into the lesbian, bi, and gay, and all that stuff,
Yeah.
she goes off beat and off key, and so I don't know if she
can't keep up?
No,
I think she's a prog rock kind of person.
rock.
No,
Yeah,
see,
it's
this
like
is-
King Crimson. I think did stuff. Like
Here's
that.
the thing. You said you were going to check your privilege, but you seem to still be laboring under the oppressive delusion that things like melody and tempo
You're making a good
are
point.
not
You're
parts
making a
of the oppressive white male
Yeah. Oh,
patriarchal regime that
Right.
have oppressed
You're
human
right.
creativity for centuries.
You're
Check
right.
your privilege, Joseph.
No, you're right. It's because of the Western Canada music. Like that doesn't mean that's all the notes.
No, it
There
doesn't.
are microtones.
There's plenty in between, like a theremin. You can find them like in between. Like
between, yeah.
the theremin is the wokest instrument on planet Earth.
In fact, I think at one point she kind of sounds like a theremin.
in Creole. We all have a place in this world.
I'm sorry
I had
for
to
all
hit
the
my
dogs that
falsetto.
are howling
Yeah.
right now.
Hey,
Yeah, that-
I'm sure she has a name.
Yeah, Malamute. Let's go to line one.
This is going to be a threat.
You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, it's Branch. Hey, guys.
Hey, Branch, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are y'all? Happy
Pretty
New
good.
Year.
Happy New Year,
I
Branch.
feel better. I feel less guilty.
I feel less
Well,
white, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm walking and was dancing to it. So, yeah, it's good. Let me ask you, I may have missed it. And if I did, I apologize because I listened to it, what was that, 4 times through, right?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
So, did she mention Caucasian or white?
How dare you,
She
sir?
didn't.
Yeah, stop trying to center your whiteness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. If we all have a place in this world, do we not? I mean, I'm curious.
Yeah, but white people have traditionally been already given all of the privileges, so they have not just a place in this world, but they have a
So we're
dominant
exempt.
position.
Yeah.
And
So
and
we're exempt from the song. I got you.
yes,
Right.
exactly.
So we're like a footnote on the song. Okay.
Right.
All right. That's, I just thought it was interesting. If we all have a place in this world and we're not missing, I guess okay. I got you.
Hey, we can all sing it along together here. This last line.
Come on, Branch.
I tell you what, I'm gonna hang on.
Thank you, Branch. Thank you. I owe you, buddy.
Thanks,
That's going to be the test. Before you can get on as a caller, you have to sing from beginning to end. You have to sing this gym with us.
Sadly, no calls, no matter what we do.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is Penny. What in the world are you people drinking for lunch?
We're trying to atone for who we are. We can't-
Forgiveness. That's what we're drinking.
Yes.
We're drinking a big cup
Well,
of forgiveness.
You're supposed to be suppressed. You're supposed to be doing as you're told. Don't you know that?
That is such a white. That is such a white
Yeah,
thing to
like-
say.
Yeah, the violence inherent in
I
the
know.
system.
Well, guess what? Guess what? I am white.
The Vanna Band-Aid.
What
It
are
sounds.
y'all talking about?
Well, sing.
What are
Hey,
you
maybe,
talking
maybe
about?
sing
What are
this
you
last
talking
line
about?
with us, Penny, and you'll understand.
Okay, I don't know what I'm
We
saying.
all have a
Place in this world.
See, don't you feel better?
No.
Oh, I feel so much better. Thank
glad
you
it worked
the
for
calm
somebody.
that brought my soul.
My credit score goes
Y'all have
down
a
every
great
time I sing this song.
Appreciate it. See, Eddie's just unrepentant. There's no change in this.
No,
guy.
there's not. You know what? Just where did you forget your clan hood today, Eduardo?
No, but strangely enough,
Oh yeah.
okay, on the cruise ship during
Yes.
Christmas, did you
Yes.
see that?
This story's crazy. Let me see if I can find it.
During Christmas on one of the Carnival cruises or whoever, they had, I guess you would call them Christmas people, I guess. They had suits.
Elves? Who are Christmas people?
They wore white pointed hoods and white all the way down. They looked like 12 Klansmen walking across the deck.
I've
What
got
is
it up
so-
on the screen.
Is it South American or?
I don't know the Christmas tradition. I'm unfamiliar with this Christmas tradition. But I was like, and then you have people recording it going,
And by the way, the cruise line insists the crew dressed up as snow cones.
Those are not snow cones.
The KKK.
I've consumed a lot of snow
Diet
cones in my
snow
day.
cones. It's just the ice.
Yeah, I didn't get. I could guess all day, and it would be like Grand Wizard.
Right.
Like,
Right. I saw that. I couldn't believe it.
Snow
We're in
cones?
snow cones, but we're not. But we're pure white. We're not infected with any of those gross colors that typically go on snow cones. That's why
So,
we're all white.
It's Pacific Explorer voyage from Melbourne, so it must be a Australian-based cruise.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a great reputation with indigenous people.
Yeah, they do. Well, and wow, there's a video to this. Let's check this
Oh,
out.
them walking.
Snow pyre.
House TV.
Okay, that's
Okay, he's
awful.
straight up sick Highland. He's straight up sick
Okay,
Highland.
yeah, he's not giving his heart out like Elon.
No, he's just holding up both arms.
Sure,
and
it's not a Roman salute. Snow cones tend to respect
The juice
the
hits him in the right
Imperium.
spot. Yeah.
That is
snow
an
cones.
insane story.
We're snow cones. We don't want those nasty. We don't want any of that nasty juice on top of us.
I saw it the first time. I turned it off. It's like, no, there's no way I just saw this. And they're little. And I thought maybe
It's
it was some
amazing.
cruise people just being jerks. No, it's the cruise line.
You know who doesn't have a place in this world? Racist snow cones.
Yeah,
Apparently
that
not.
is true.
No.
No, like I mean, they could have asked us. We're like, guys, don't do that.
Please don't.
Obviously,
I would have told Elon, hey, maybe not the Roman salute.
Right,
Maybe
right.
not. Just in case.
maybe not.
But the funniest thing is I used to have a picture. Sorry, Governor. I had a picture that I was just snapping pictures of the state of the state one time, and there was a brilliant picture of Ivy. She wasn't, but she could not have looked more like she was sick hiling.
Oh.
And I was like, man, I want to use this in a headline so bad.
Well, and ever since that like Elon clip, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
okay, Bibi Netanyahu comes out. She goes, Elon Musk is not a Nazi. Wish I had a deep voice like Bibi. And then the internet finds AOC, Hillary Clinton, everybody at some point with their arm raised up in that position.
Yes.
And you know, the funniest thing was I decided to go back and look at the Nazi salute. It was really 90 degrees. Like it was
it wasn't all
from feet
that-
up. It was like straight out when you would see the Fuhrer
and
doing
it's
it.
very similar to what it was the Bellamy salute when we
Yeah.
first
I was
did
gonna say-
the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, everyone
Everyone
used
used
to
to
do
do
it,
it before
yeah.
World War II. That was how
Yeah.
you did it.
They ruined it.
But see, the thing is, like historically, like you know, everyone is seen doing this,
Yeah.
but this is like the traditional one
Right.
right here. So really, if you're going historically, Elon didn't do anything of the sort.
Well, and I think somebody claiming to be a Tesla engineer said this is fine, but you start getting it to 130 degrees, you're in the danger zone there. And so,
But see, what if you went like palms up? Then that just looks like you're like that's cool. Like I'm giving you something.
you know
here.
what? I think we already sullied our social justice souls.
I
Just
Yeah.
this conversation
Already?
we had about the cruise line and
It's that easy.
about the Elon Roman salute. I think we have to hear this again.
Indigenous people of color, black and indigenous people of color, lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer. Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer.
Up now.
Asian American Pacific Islander. Asian American Pacific Islander.
Latino, Hispanic, Romani,
And Creole. Latino, Hispanic, Romani, and
For the big
Creole.
finish.
We
all have a place in this world.
Everybody out there listening, even if you're walking, Branch.
We all have a place in this world.
we all don't deserve a place in this world.
I'm just trying to get rid of the guilt.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
It's
deeper.
not- it's not
I suspect,
working.
though, I'm starting to think my guilt is deeper than politics.
That'll unexpel those Native Americans that my grandfathers got rid of. I feel the guilt leaving my body.
I just don't. I don't see the big picture. But I do wonder what color Subaru she has.
Well, and that's a nice toque she's got right there on
You like that?
Yeah, I like that.
How difficult do you think it is to get all of the cat hair out of her home knit like scarves and hats and things?
Probably kind of embedded.
Yeah, the point
through-
is
when
to
she's
embed
actually
it,
doing
Greg.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
like,
for insulation purposes.
well, and it's wasteful to just throw out all that hair that sheds. Like, and when if you brush your cat and then like what you just throw it away into the landfill?
Yeah. No.
No.
So
I eat its flesh and wear its skin as a hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. 5 Hail Marys for you. I know you're not even Catholic, all right? Just say them right now.
Put it out there.
Mary, Mother of God, is going to give you help, all right?
I find myself in times of trouble, What was the Blind Boys of Alabama, that one song? When my leg, no. That one's really good.
Really good. I love Blind Boys of Alabama.
It's amazing. They're still kicking.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
272-228 if you want to get in on the conversation. This part of the program, brought to you by Sweet Creek Farm Market. And it really was earlier this week. The whole town looked like a winter wonderland. But Sweet Creek looked pristine.
It did.
Absolutely beautiful. Of course, things have warmed up there. And if you stop by Sweet Creek, you got to find Reed Ingram and be like, man, I love this store. We heard about you on the radio with Joey and Eddie and Craig. And they're just 2 miles south of Taylor Road on Highway 231. You can stop by just for a warm cup of coffee. They have an award-winning cafe there. Or for lunch, get a big old sandwich. They're so big. I think for most of y'all, you'll eat half, and then you can save the other half later for dinner. Or maybe you're really hungry. You want that big lunch. It's Friday. Why not? They also have amazing baked goods. Those cookies are to die for. They're big, too.
Yep.
All different varieties. We're partial to the Swamp cookie, right, gentlemen? Yeah, everything. They throw the kitchen sink.
Everything's in there.
It's so good. And then, of course, they have layer cakes and all sorts of things that are hard to find. That it's sort of that Southern traditional stuff that you're not going to find at the big chain stores. Especially like, what did Byron Sheehy say the other day? Rhubarb jam.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like stuff that you're
say that
rhubarb.
Rhubarb.
There's a B at the end of that, Joey.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I took it off. We all have a place in this world. And everybody has a place at Sweet Creek Farm Market. Stop by there, do your grocery shopping, again, quick lunch, or if you're looking for a place to take kids where they can play around the whole playground area, run around with the chickens, the other farm animals running around while you enjoy your shopping experience, get by Sweet Creek Farm Market. Like them on Facebook to see the latest products they've got coming in and great events they have coming up. And again, be sure to find Reed Ingram there at Sweet Creek and tell them that Joey and Eddie and Craig, those guys on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hey guys, are you looking for a professional and reliable tree service company in the Montgomery and surrounding areas? Well, check out the folks at Tree Masters. It's a name you know and trust. From pruning to full tree removal, they'll even help you remove your shrubs. They service all of Central Alabama, including Lake Martin and Lake Jordan. Call them for a free quote today at 334-676-3638. That's 334-676-3638. Tree Masters.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. The stock market is on track to close the week with solid gains on healthy quarterly earnings reports from large U.S. corporations. Ford is recalling more than 270,000 Broncos and Mavericks due to a power problem that can cause the vehicles to stop unexpectedly or fail to start. American Express shares slid more than 2%, even though the credit card company beat Wall Street's profit forecasts on record revenue and raised its dividend. Telecom giant Verizon also exceeded analyst fourth quarter sales and profit projections, but its shares were stagnant before the markets opened. Boeing shares dipped a little more than 1% pre-market after the airplane manufacturer said it would post a much wider loss than Wall Street expected. Boeing says it incurred nearly $3 billion worth of charges in the fourth quarter. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Our pattern of way below normal temperatures continues. It'll be a few days before we climb out of the Arctic cellar. Today's high temperature around 47 with a good bit of sunshine. Very cold again tonight with mostly clear skies. Low temperature down to about 19. Saturday's high up near 50 with almost total sunshine. Down to 29 on Saturday night. Risk of showers begins on Sunday afternoon, but a better chance Sunday night into Monday with a high both days up to about 55. That's still below normal, but better, and a high near 60 on Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. I'm sure y'all have heard the rumors about Barack.
And Michael?
Yeah, that there's a possible divorce in the works. Yeah, and of course he's like denying it, put out a message of love to his wife.
Yeah, I saw
there.
the picture on her, wasn't it her birthday? That didn't look cropped
right.
or nothing.
Yeah, but she didn't show up to the Jimmy Carter funeral, didn't show up to the inaugural with Trump.
No.
And all these folks are pushing these rumors, and now the scuttlebutt is, especially in those rags like the Inquirer, is that Obama's side piece is Jennifer Aniston.
What?
Rachel.
And in fact, there's a Jimmy Kimmel clip of Kimmel bringing this up with Jennifer Aniston. And Aniston's like, oh my God, it's not true. But she seems a little flabbergasted that he even held up the cover of like the Inquirer and said, I mean, if it's true, I want to see the tape. Like remember Kim Kardashian?
Yeah.
It all started with a tape, right?
Yeah, but I believe people at their word. If they tell me they're down with each other, I don't need to see no tape. I'm good.
Right. Honestly, I don't care. At the
No, you didn't put it out there.
Especially after we did that song to expunge our guilt.
I think you need a few more verses of that.
No, and this is why I used to care. I don't care after doing that song. I've expunged all that
they
from
said
my.
That they have. She has taken down all her comments on Twitter because I guess
Jennifer Aniston has. Oh yeah,
because people I guess are blowing her up about that.
Oh yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's for some reason it's gone viral today. Like
So
it was a
this is
thing
people
from
wanting
tabloids a while back, but then Megyn Kelly did a report saying some other person was in like an inner circle, like everybody hanging out, meeting, like the friends, and a little drinking going on, a little fun, and she essentially admitted it. Now that's a source, an insider in the
that tape.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I think all of this is.
Did they meet at a Diddy party?
Ooh, good question.
By the way, Dave Chappelle always just has an angle that kills. Like, I realized I'm ugly.
I tell you, listening to 50 Cent on David Schultz's podcast, talking about the Diddy stuff is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. So there's all that sort of like rumor and innuendo going on. I don't have much to add or much to prove about Barack and Jennifer Aniston. But honestly, I'd be like, I mean, if it's true, I'm like, good for you, man.
Well, what's the last president that got a divorce? You don't know?
Not like as president? I don't think ever.
I don't think as president, but just in general, I don't know.
Trump.
Yeah, but that was, I mean.
Before he was president, yeah.
But after a president.
Like Reagan was president. No, I don't think there's anyone I can remember
anyone should have been,
after
it'd been
their
the Clintons, and they didn't, so.
No. No, that's a power relationship more than anything, which is why I would never suspect that the Obamas would get divorced.
I suspect if things had worked out a little differently and in better favor, Lincoln was heading towards divorce.
Mm-hmm.
No, he saw his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had a fondness for ladies of the evening. Old Lincoln did.
Oh, really?
And ugly women, you saw his wife.
And and he was treating his syphilis with mercury.
I heard.
Yeah.
Man, the procedures back then. At least, you know, like, we've still got the Larry Ellison coming out. We'll do customized mRNA shots that are cancer vaccines.
Just going to say, what's crazier, that or, hey, Craig, I got a COVID vaccine on you?
And all that's freaking me out, but it's still better. I think it's a better conversation than, sir, we need to put leeches on you.
Well, that's even worse when Andrew Garfield got
You've got too much blood.
Yeah.
When Andrew Garfield got assassinated, he probably would have survived his wounds, but at that time the germ theory of disease was sort of just now blossoming. So he had like 8 physicians digging around with their naked fingers in a bullet hole in his abdomen, and then they wonder why he lost 100 pounds and then probably had a heart attack.
Wow, gracious.
Yeah, he died. What was it like? Many days after he got shot. He got shot by a weird freaking guy. Weird guy who he wanted a place in the administration, and he found out to be like an attaché to Paris, even though he didn't speak French. And so he was like a really narcissistic guy. And so he just wanted the VP, Garfield's VP, to take over for him. So he shot him at a train station. At this point, there was no Secret Service protection because they thought that Lincoln was a one-off because Lincoln was shot, I think, like 14, 15 years before Garfield.
Yeah.
And everyone thought that was just kind of a one-off because of the Civil War. Well, then Garfield ends up getting shot at a train platform, and they're like, hey, maybe we should start protecting this guy.
Seems to have been a no-brainer. But
July 2nd, 1881, James A. Garfield, the 20th president of the United States, was shot at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station in D.C., resulting in his death in Elberon, New Jersey. Well, they also took him to Jersey.
Yeah.
2.5 months later.
Oh, wow, 2.5 months.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
The shooting occurred less than 4 months into his term as president.
Well, just imagine if we shot Craig here and I go, let me get the bullet out of you. I'm just running fingers down there trying to find it.
One bullet, if memory serves him correctly, one hit him in the arm and then one entered the abdomen. And it was just the infection. He lost 100 pounds while he was recovering. He didn't really want to eat that much.
Recovering.
Well, yeah, but there was obviously some sort of infection because, you know, you don't die chronic. You don't die from an acute gunshot wound 2 months later.
And the guy's name is Charles Guiteau.
Yes.
And he was an American man who distributed copies of speech he wrote aimed at promoting Garfield in the 1880 United States presidential election. Guiteau believed his campaigning had been vital to Garfield's eventual victory, and that Garfield owed him a diplomatic post in Europe for his assistance. After months of failed attempts to solicit such a reward from the Garfield administration, he purchased a revolver and began stalking Garfield with the goal of assassinating him, and he succeeded.
Yeah, he chickened out several times. He wasn't a brave guy. That's why he would try to give speeches and he would just freeze.
Oh.
So, yeah, and he was just a delusional guy.
Man, what a mess. Let's go to Papa.
Garfield, by the way, funnily enough, was besides Donald Trump, was the only non-consecutive president.
Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B.
All right. Oh, we all have a place in this world.
It's catching on, Joey.
We all have a place in this world.
Especially the Romani.
I mean, having had to sing that, just bear with me a minute.
Yeah.
What is this new hymnal of the left? Is this the new addition to the hymnal, left liberal hymnal?
Yeah.
Where's this song come from?
It was just released by a young woman. We don't even really know her name. It was reported by Colin Rugg on the X platform. Well, actually, here it is. Her name is Molly Galler. She released this song this week and is encouraging people to collaborate on it.
Molly Galler. That sounds like something my grandfather would say if he was surprised.
Right.
Like, Molly Galler.
I wonder how long it took her parents to come up with that one. Anyway, so I always like to premise these conversations, but stake out my, my ground here. I want us to all love each other and try to get along, but we can only do that through mutual respect. It's not, we can't just take every outrage that left throws up on the board and adopt it. The whole DEI conversation thing is, well, the left is having some real conversations about it. Finally, I saw Joe and Mika had a panel on it, and they were really having some questions about it. They were digging into why it's failing, especially in, I think, some of the schools or universities or something like that. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I got the gist of it. And, it's, I think, helpful to always find out, it's, people say something, and you might think it is something that they are not saying. They say one thing, but they mean something else. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, what a very nice concept.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds really great. Yes, we want to be nice to people. But what they mean is you low-down white folks are flawed. And we have got to teach you what to do, what to say, what to think, how to be. We are morally superior to you, and you are going to listen to us and do what we tell you to do, no matter what, by force of law. We are going to come down on you with all 4 feet. And, that's just not going to work, man. People are tired of it. That's the reason.
I hear you, but I'm also hearing somebody needs to sing that song again. Like, you are unrepentant and just, it's, wow. Wow.
Be careful. They're going to send you to re-education camp.
Like, yikes.
If I could sing, I'd sing it again. But I know I can't carry a tune in a bucket. So, but
and I wouldn't declare victory just yet for anybody out there. For instance, there's this little thing, the ATF defied Trump's order to place DEI workers on leave. For instance, there's a woman named Lisa Boykin, Chief Diversity Officer, January 21st, 2025. January 22nd, her title's changed to Senior Executive at the ATF. And it's like, oh yeah. And I think this is going on in our colleges and universities here in Alabama, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Just rebranding.
Rebranding. No, they've been rebranding forever. DEI is just another, word for whatever. I mean, the CRT thing is just, a continuation of the same theme, basically. Mm-hmm. They just keep coming up with new terms for it. By the time this president and the movement he's built gets through with the Democrats, I think they're going to have to change their name again. Years ago, I mentioned this to you before, they used to be known as, liberals, okay, or progressive. No, the progressive. They had adopted the term progressive. And then they got whooped so badly, they had to change their name to Democrat. I think they're going to have to rebrand the whole party by the time this is over with.
Yeah, I'm just saying they've done that many times, and they're the oldest political party still alive in the world. So they know how to stay alive, so to speak.
Well, right now they're trying to gnaw their leg off to get out of the trap, though.
We used to call Coyote ugly. Yeah.
It's true, though. Right, and so one of their latest efforts, and I know you got to go, but they're trying to separate out the whole immigration thing they're trying to corral it. And they know they can see the power, the political power that it has. They're ready to acknowledge it, and they're ready to do something about it, whatever they can do to, have some input. But they're ready to get that out of everything else. And so they're trying to isolate it so that, the rest of the Trump agenda has less power and momentum.
Oh, yeah.
If you see that happening. So, anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all letting me call in, as usual.
Well, have a good weekend, Papa B.
See you, Papa B.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And daggum, is that place good? For lunch? For dinner?
Sir.
Would you say it's even good for breakfast, Eddie?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it is a destination for breakfast. I would call it a true Southern breakfast. If you go to their website, smokehousepitbarbecue.com, you can see, the photo gallery. I'm looking at glorious cheese grits, bacon, eggs sunny side up, a biscuit.
Yeah.
A little bit of sliced tomato on the side. I'm seeing a hamburger with all the fixins. I'm seeing a steak, and of course I'm seeing pulled pork, I'm seeing ribs, I'm seeing camp stew. Like, they really have it going on. And here's the thing. Smokehouse has been around for a long time, decades.
That's right.
But recently, with the new owners there, they're back to the original recipes people first fell in love with when Smokehouse first started. So if you love that barbecue, if you have fond memories of that barbecue, if you've heard about it and you haven't taken the time to stop by there at Main Street in Millbrook, get by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue today. Hey, it's not too late for lunch. Maybe you're just getting off a lunch break. Go by there. Maybe get a big old thing of camp stew. You can warm up some later.
That'd be good.
Tonight. Or check them out on Facebook. See what sort of entertainment they have. As you know, they got a big old bar and an amazing menu, as we keep talking about. So y'all check them out today. Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Craig, those guys on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Joey, when are you taking us all out to Smokehouse Pit Barbecue, man? I mean, this could be like the anti-DEI movement. You know what DEI is all they're against the white heterosexual male. They're for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering, you know, when are all of us white heterosexual males going out to Smokehouse Pit Barbecue on Joey? I mean, it sounds like a great idea.
On me? Probably.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I'm sure Mr. Monger
you
can
go
get in
hungry.
line with that.
Black and indigenous people.
Are we gonna eat the barbecue on him like those weird naked sushi places?
No, we're not gonna. We're not doing that. No.
No, just making sure, because that would make it very not straight if that was
Okay.
the case.
This goes to what the other gentleman said earlier about mishearing or misunderstanding what someone said. I think you said earlier that Garfield was the only non-consecutive president with 2 terms, but that would have been Grover Cleveland. If I'm not mistaken.
Garfield. Yeah. No, sorry.
You're right.
You're 100% right. I don't know. Garfield and Cleveland, I don't know why they got mixed around in my head. No, you're 100% right.
Well, they both look like the cat.
Yes, very true.
Both of them what?
They look like the cat.
The cat.
Garfield.
My bad. I'm sorry.
No, but you're
Garfield
right.
cat.
It is Grover
It
Cleveland.
is Grover Cleveland. I
That
don't
would
know
have
why.
been 22 and 24. And, of course, Joey's favorite president would have been the antitrust guy, who I believe was 26.
Oh, good old Teddy.
Exactly, the teddy bear.
Well,
Is he one
I'm
of your
kind
least
of like,
favorites, Joey?
no, he's not one of my least favorites because he's such an amazing personality.
Yeah.
He really is such an incredible man and figure in history. No, I think my favorite is Millard Fillmore. I like people that sort of mark the end of certain things, and he certainly marked the end of, what was it, the Whigs?
Yeah.
That's fair. Gentlemen, it's been my pleasure, and y'all have a nice day.
Appreciate it, James.
There's an Alabama congressman that's going to bring back the Whig Party. Any guesses?
There's going to be hell to pay.
Really?
If he does that.
Do you not get the joke here? Never mind.
There's an Alabama congressman that's going to bring back the Whig Party,
Yeah.
and there's going to be hell to pay.
Yes. Our buddy with the Lego.
Yeah,
hair.
okay, there we go. All right, just making sure. You were looking nonplussed. I was making sure you were a part of the
What's
the team.
wrong? Ever since we started doing the song, you seem like...
You guys are on different planets. Y'all need to go somewhere and get that out of your system.
Do I have
Go
to play
change
this
the oil
song
in the
again?
car or something.
Do I have to play the song again?
Joey, I still think
lift
there's
some weights.
There's some latent racism, Hanny. We need to get it out.
Not.
This is the power of woke compels you.
Non-testosterone. Testosterone, non-testosterone.
Hey, Eddie. Look.
See?
Boom. Right
Would
there.
you like to...
I'm feeling more racist by the
Seriously,
moment.
let's all 3 take our shirts off and flex. See how
I'm afraid to show my fat belly? Come on,
No,
baby.
I'm just saying. Yeah, you're the picture of testosterone.
This is a picture of health, baby. 55-year-old man. It don't get no better than this.
Definitely not mental health. Let's be honest there. Psychologically you're a mess. Physically, you're a specimen. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Incredible specimen.
Psychologically, you're a disaster.
I'll be the first one to admit it.
Yeah.
No, Eddie's
Bag
going
of
to be
cats.
one of these people they interview at 104. It's like, my doctor told me to stop drinking Dr. Pepper. And all that NyQuil, too. I said, Doc, you don't know what you're talking about. And guess what? I'm alive. He's dead.
At that age, his wife's gonna have to like pre-suck his Doritos to make sure that he can chew them.
That'd be part of my
Hold on, honey.
Yeah.
Let me rehydrate these and give you the baby bird.
He's like, I tried to eat a plain Cheeto and it nearly killed me.
Oh, well, I guess we've learned so far we all have a place in this world.
We do indeed.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Guardian Credit Union believes this is the year you take control of your financial future. Resolutions are a great start, but Team Guardian is here to help you all year long. Whether you're starting fresh, planning big, or fine-tuning your budget, our team wants to help you make a plan you can stick to. Plus, our mobile app lets you set savings goals, track spending, and build your budget all in one place. Come visit any of our branches so we can get to know you. Happy New Year from all of us at Guardian Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hello, this is Pam with All About the Bounce. We have been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for a little over a month now and have seen great results. Thank you, Blue Water, for helping us to bring the bounce to more customers across the river region. Radio advertisement is definitely the best advertisement.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Hold on, I got to adjust my camera so everybody can see the Trump there, down there on the floor. I still got the Trump mask going on there. That was one of the better gifts Eddie has ever given me right there. I'm talking about the Trump mask, Eddie. I really appreciate that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a friendly reminder to have Trump right over my right shoulder.
Just looking over your shoulder, Joey. Making sure you're doing things right. Plus, maybe he can help you with the ladies.
Actually, I'm sure he could. Hey, we have a great sponsor and a good friend of the show here. We have Austin Barenko with Invista Advisors on the line. Hey, Austin, how you doing today?
Oh, having a great day, Joey. Recovering from our event last night, but back in the saddle today, and happy it's Friday.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it last night, but I know it was a big presentation, and I mean, there's a lot to sort through. Like, this administration's moving so quickly, and then the reaction, and it's maybe I'm repeating myself, but just more and more keeps coming out, whether I'm looking right now at Masayoshi-san and Sam Altman and the other guy, Larry Ellison, and the huge announcement with Stargate, but it sounds like Saudi Arabia is investing money, looks from World Economic Forum panels, a lot of, let's say, the big wigs, the movers and shakers, are actually moving, it seems, in the direction Trump wants.
Yeah, there's so much to digest and talk about, but talking about Altman yesterday, I saw him get into a little Twitter spat with Elon. That was silly. Also, watching Trump and Davos yesterday basically spank the Bank of America CEO was silly to watch. There's a lot of moving parts to Trump. The market is accelerating, but it doesn't change the fact there are headwinds. The presentation given last night by our chief economist was extremely compelling, and we did hate to miss you. We'll do more of these and hopefully get you in there. But, yeah, it's so hard to focus on all these different moving parts. We try to really focus on a few sectors that we're confident in and find growth there with less risk. But it's exciting. I'm, quite frankly, enjoying this more than the previous administration already. And the only way to get past this problem that we have, the headwinds of inflation and the amount of, call it, the velocity of money that's in the market, which is way overcooked. The only way out of this problem is through growth. And if there's one guy that can do it, I think we all know that Trump's the guy that we'd back to do it, and he's already making moves in that direction. So, maybe at some point in the next week or two, I come in studio and sit down and digest some of this in more depth for the listeners. But all in all, right now is an exciting time. We're confident about the direction. You just need to be very selective about where you allocate right now, because there's no doubt that some of these headwinds are going to cut off at the knees some of these investments that have been winners for years now. They can't keep winning, and if you're in these that get cut off the knees, it's going to be swift. So just be careful where you're allocated, and we can dive into more specifics when we have more time.
Well, and of course, folks, if you're looking not just on, say, the investment in your stock portfolio, but you're looking for all-around long-term financial planning and really securing your financial future for you and the people you love, those you care about, you got to go with Invista Advisors. And it's really can just start with a phone call, 387-0094. And when you call up 387-0094, be sure to say, hey, I heard Austin Baranko on that radio show with Joey Clark.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joey, and you and Eddie have a great weekend.
You too, sir.
Hey, bud.
Again, that's Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Thousands of pro-lifers are in Washington for the annual March for Life, seeking to build momentum after a string of victories and maintain pressure on legislators. The March for Life is now underway. Vice President J.D. Vance is now speaking. President Donald Trump on his first trip in his second term in hurricane-battered North Carolina. He'll then travel to wildfire-ravaged Los Angeles. He has sharply criticized former President Biden's administration for its handling of Hurricane Helene in North Carolina, and he has spoken with victims of Helene, promising help. Mr. Trump will follow these stops with a Saturday victory rally in Las Vegas. Stocks are lower, the Dow dropping 106 points, the NASDAQ 72 in the red. This is SRN News.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. Making America Great Again starts with making America healthy again. I lost 40 pounds with the PhD weight loss and nutrition program, and 2 years later I haven't gained a pound back. I started the PhD weight loss and nutrition program because I needed to be healthy to keep up with my crazy schedule. Most people start a weight loss program to get healthier, so why is Big Pharma spending millions to convince you to use their weight loss injections that do just the opposite? Do your homework. Weight loss injections have harmful side effects and lifelong dependency. Take a natural approach that isn't connected to Big Pharma's bottom line. PhD changes the way you think about food. You'll learn to quiet cravings and finally release the unhealthy belly fat. PhD weight loss is leading the charge to make America healthy again. Text the word healthy to 717767 or visit myphdweightloss.com. That's the word healthy to 717767. It's worked for me. It'll work for you. 717767. Text the word.
It's Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. Our pattern of way below normal temperatures continues. It'll be a few days before we climb out of the Arctic cellar. Today's high temperature around 47 with a good bit of sunshine. Very cold again tonight with mostly clear skies. Low temperature down to about 19. Saturday's high up near 50 with almost total sunshine. Down to 29 on Saturday night. Risk of showers begins on Sunday afternoon, but a better chance Sunday night into Monday with a high both days up to about 55. That's still below normal, but better, and a high near 60 on Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. After nearly a month of waiting, hundreds of employees at Big Lots Distribution Center in Montgomery officially learned they will lose their jobs in the company's sale to a private equity firm. On Thursday, Big Lots announced that the Montgomery plant will cease operations on February 28th, which will result in the loss of 491 jobs. The state fire marshal has confirmed that a man was found dead in Tuesday morning's house fire in South Montgomery County. The fire happened in the 3300 block of Highway 94 in Raymer. The victim's name has not yet been released. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Construction is underway to expand the emergency department at Baptist Medical Center South in Montgomery. The $14 million project will include an additional 30 emergency room areas, increasing ER treatment capacity to 83 rooms. The project is expected to be completed in approximately 12 months in early 2026. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the house. Craig Monger's still here, but he had to go do something here for a second. In the bathroom.
Just say what it is.
I think it's some meeting or whatever. I don't know.
A meeting in the ladies' room.
It's like a regular meeting or something. But welcome back to the program. Before we get into things, this part of the program brought to you by a great sponsor, Pest Pro Services.
Yes.
And Ashley and the team there at Pest Pro Services are ready to help you out with any and all of your pest control needs. And, and a lot of folks, as we've been reminding people this week, Eddie, don't think about that firewood they have stowed up.
Oh, no.
Especially as you start toting it into the house because it's cold and you're doing it quick. You're not thinking about it. You're just moving it quick. Well, as you've described, and you learned this from Pest Pro, right?
Yeah.
There will be dormant insects in there. Like they're not even moving. They're almost...
they snuggled in there for the winter. They don't know that you're going to burn them up. So, but when they come in the house and it's warmed in the house, they're thinking, hey, it's springtime, baby.
Because it's not like you're bringing a log in and immediately always just throwing it on the fire.
No, that's
sometimes you'll like have 2 or 3 extra sitting right on the hearth there or something. And so, yeah, watch out for a pest inside there. Think about also like rodents.
Oh, yeah.
They were looking for a warm place at this time of the year. And, I mean, I know there's some people like, well, I'll just deal with it myself. But no. Call the professionals.
That's how it gets out of hand.
Yeah, it's really going to cause you a nightmare.
It really will.
And it doesn't have to be an emergency. It doesn't have to be like, ooh, a mouse or honey, I think the firewood's infested. It can just be, hey, Joey, Eddie, I'm looking for a local pest control company that is really good at what they do. Obviously, it's Pest Pro Services.
Yep, 100%.
100% local, always giving back to the community, and truly skilled professionals there. So you can always check them out online at ppsriverregion.com or just search on the Book of Faces. They have a very active Facebook page, always putting out tips and tricks when it comes to securing your home from those pests, as well as, like I said, all sorts of events and drives and things they do to give back to the local community. And, of course, you can always call them up. Make them that regular pest control company at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Also a great place to work if you're looking for a career.
Exactly
Go check
right.
in with them. A great place to maybe get a good job. And be sure to tell Ashley and that team there at Pest Pro that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you. 272-9228. Let's go to Poison Ivy.
Joey and Eddie.
Hi.
Well, hello. Your fella that's on there ever so often, Troy, he wrote
Yes.
an editorial in 1819 News this morning, and it got Cousin Governor kind of riled.
Oh.
Yes, and she decided to get all the heads of the departments because, she's wanting to take over the Veterans Department completely. Did you know that?
Yep.
And she did a little acronym of an alliance that she's got together with everybody she can. And this is the acronym. It's called DROP the Veterans. And it goes for Directly Reiterating Opposition, Promoting the Help, Encouragement, Value, Empowerment, Trust, Recognition, Alliance, Negating Servicemen. And she went on CNN after Woodfin to make sure everybody knows that she's not moving no matter what Mr. Troy says. Y'all have a great day.
Appreciate the update. We don't often hear from the governor's office other than the press releases everybody sees.
Yep, that's true.
Anyway, I'm looking here. It's an update from Doge.
Oh?
From the actual @Doge on X. In the first 80 hours, approximately $420 million of current impending contracts have been canceled. 2 leases have also been canceled. Initial focus is mainly on DEI contracts and unoccupied buildings.
Unoccupied buildings, that just drives me nuts.
And I believe I was listening to the show before, Alabama Unfiltered, and Jeff called in, and he was asking about can Doge, essentially, if they find not just waste, but they find malfeasance, they find actual fraud and corruption, can we actually report people, like, for committing crimes and these sorts of things? I believe the makeup of the Doge executive order creates a Doge team at the head of every agency. And part of that team, one is like the head person reporting, running that small 4-person team. The other 2 are engineers, I believe. And then the fourth would be a lawyer. And so I'd imagine if they do find actual malfeasance, actual fraud, corruption, improper payments, all this stuff, which already Government Accountability Office GAO reports show there's a lot of it, say just within the entitlements. You don't have to cut a single penny to actual beneficiaries or future beneficiaries. We're still spending hundreds of billions to people that don't deserve this. And it's kind of this whole idea of, well, if you want integrity in the program, it better be going to the right people, or else you're helping the theft of all this money people have been forced to pay in, hoping it will be there when they retire or when they're down and out in some way.
I would hope the lawyer being on there he's officer of the court. He would have to.
And then imagine the way it could be done. I'll put it this way. The inspector generals in particular departments do some fantastic work, like all the waste in Afghanistan. Like that inspector general in particular, he made no friends in Washington. Did Washington act on it fast enough? No. But he did find a lot of the problems. So I'd imagine you could have a Doge lawyer who sees the thing, goes immediately to the inspector general. And then is there a way to, I'm sure it's part of Doge's work, to streamline and speed up the inspector general side of things?
I would think so.
And then
again,
if it's blatant, if it's completely just plain as day, like this is a crime, send it to the AG. Send it to the DOJ. Have them look over it. If it's that bad. Or if it's something like, man, this seems like a culture department-wide, send it to the inspector general.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea that it's not just about actually saving money or just creating efficiencies within the federal government. It's also like along the way, if you find actual crimes,
maybe it'll change some of that
culture. 272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Steve, I just had a question, and I don't know if y'all have heard anything. Y'all may be just like me and not know, but I'm still working and drawing Social Security. I'm curious if Trump gets this passed, say by early summertime or June or whatever, if it will be in effect for the tax year of 2025, if it'll help us or not, or we going to have to wait till 26?
If they do anything, I think it'll be for the next year.
It has to be, I think.
A lot of what they're talking about, though, is extending the current tax structure
Mhm.
that would be in place and effective in 25.
Well, see, I didn't think, I knew it wouldn't help me for 2024, but I didn't know if it would help, this year or not, when we go file next year, because a lot of times they don't even draw the stuff up until October, November, I didn't think.
Right, I don't know. They might have ways of very quickly doing that and make it effective to the year they actually pass it in, but you're right. It's usually the next year everything becomes effective.
Well, it really hurt me this year. My wife had been drawing. I just drew 7 months, and I had to pay a lot of estimated tax. How much of it I'll get back, I don't know. But, I mean, Biden's the one I understand that got that started as a senator, and it's really not income the way I see it. We paid in. We're not, we're not making anything. That's crooked.
It is.
Oh, yeah. And it's just... Go
I
ahead.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. 272-9228. Let's go to Robert. Hey, Robert.
Hey, what's up, Robert?
Hey, guys. Man, I've dropped in and listened, and Joey, you and Eddie, that conversation about Doge, in my opinion, was straight on common sense, and I want to congratulate y'all because, in other words, if you're looking for waste and you stumble across fraud, only common sense would say, yeah, you do that too.
Yeah, we not only
is
stop
the
it,
biggest
like
waste.
in terms of the money flows, we actually report the fraud and the crimes. Yeah.
Right. And anyway, I love your show. But what I was calling in about is I heard early we was talking about stocks, and I guess I'm in my own frame of mind today.
Mm-hmm.
But Southern Company, which is the utility that provides the electric and stuff here in Alabama, we were that company was the last one to do an extension on a nuclear plant, Folger. And the way things are going, you're talking about data centers and all. Well, if you can produce a dang nuclear plant extension under Biden, just imagine how much they could do under Trump.
Yeah, I'm not one to give anybody financial or investment advice. Of course,
right, 'cause
I love
I'm
Bitcoin,
broke.
but I think common sense does dictate that energy is probably. Well, you got to look at it carefully, though. Look at more of the companies because maybe the cost of energy comes down, like the actual commodities.
Right.
So,
But this is the other thing that the whole world knows is AI, whether we like it or don't like it, it's fitting to happen, Captain.
Yep.
And if it's going to happen, where better than to do it right here in the Southern Company region of Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. And we're the only ones. Well, anyway, then the last thing, there was one other thing I was going to ask you. And let's see, it was about YouTube. You're on YouTube. Man, I got brain lock. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, man.
Another,
watch us on YouTube, Joey Clark Live. It's where you can watch.
There you go.
Joey Clark Live. I couldn't find it, but I'm going to try again. I do mine on the TV.
Yeah.
But I want to thank y'all for your conversation. And if Alabama wants to be a part of the future, Southern Company can help it happen because if you want to passively and get some dividends and stuff like that, Southern Company is a good way to go. But I'm not. I'm not rich. I'm broke.
That's
I
just
see you.
one guy's opinion. Appreciate
Hey,
it,
Robert.
Robert. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Coach Tuberville.
Yeah, he's been all over, man.
He really is. And he joined, I think, one of the best new changes at Fox News.
Yeah.
Shakeups there at Fox News. Will Cain took over for Neil Cavuto, which I think Will Cain is a much better fit and understands this moment much better. I'll put it that way. And he had on Tuberville, and I think, Coach is just laying it out there. And he really has been all over the place. So is Senator Britt.
Yes.
Like, I think there is a bit of a competition, a healthy one, I suppose.
Very healthy.
Let's listen in. This is Coach Tuberville on with Will Cain with his brand new show on Fox.
Of the Will Cain Show. He has told me to call him Coach, but in all decorum here, it is the Fox News Channel, and I must call you Senator Tuberville. Thanks for being here. What do you think
he stole my line.
About these holdouts among the GOP when it comes to Pete Hegseth?
Well, first of all, Will, look at the big picture. He got 51 votes. That pushed him to a vote tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So less than 30 hours from now, we'll have a new Secretary of Defense once he gets sworn in at the White House. People are going to vote the way they want to up here, especially on the Republican side. I've dealt with it for 4 years. But at the end of the day, it was a chaos on the Senate floor before the vote. You had Democrats going over Republicans. They even came to me, Coach, you're going to be disappointed in this guy. He's going to let us all down. They're scrambling. The New World Order, socialist, globalists lost. And they understand that this is the area that they really can't lose. When you lose your military, your national defense agency, basically, and they don't have control of it anymore, we're going to do away with social justice, DEI. We're going to have great recruiting. We're going to put discipline back in the military. That is exactly opposite what the Democrats want. So thank God, Pete will get confirmed sometime this weekend, and we're off to the races.
Now, on that point with Hegseth, I think he does get confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
But is it partly that folks just don't buy the game anymore of you did some awful scandalous thing and we're going to dump it out there last second? Is the public just numb to that?
I think so. I think they just don't believe you. It was almost like the January 6th thing. Yep. It's like, sure, was there objectively some people that got incredibly violent but it's sort of a fruit of the poisonous tree type thing. You've lied about so many people. You've maligned so many people. You've used the idea of justice as a political weapon so much to the point that we just instinctively don't believe you. So let's say that Hegseth was a horrible, drunk abuser of women. You still wouldn't believe the people telling you that because they've lied to you so much in the past.
Right. And it's that last second sort of anonymously sourced, like... That's what I think really frustrates
Look what they did to
people.
Kavanaugh. They did it to Kavanaugh. They tried to do it to Trump. They Clarence Thomas. They did it to Roy Moore.
They tried to do it to Alito through his wife.
Yeah, it's insanity.
Because she's a mouthy broad.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
You let those flags fly.
No, Eddie, have you seen quotes from that woman?
Yes. When
she's
the whole flag
amazing.
thing
She's
came
based.
up.
She is based AF.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She don't have to. She don't care.
She don't mess
She don't have
around.
to.
I know you're a very learned, smart guy, but even you, when you use the internet nomenclature, I'm like, based AF, brah.
Yeah, I've used the word nonplussed and based AF in the span of 30 minutes. I think I give a good balance there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you can get you a man that can do both, ladies.
Good luck.
Let's keep going here with Coach Tuberville.
Perfect. I couldn't think of it to be more poetic that Pete Hegseth is confirmed on the weekend, of course, former weekend host of Fox and Friends. I'm really glad to hear as well that your colleagues call you Coach. Makes me feel like I'm not totally out over my skis or out of bounds. You brought up, by the way, the New World Order. You talked about the globalist mindset. Pretty remarkable, by the way, Senator, to hear Donald Trump today then speaking to those at Davos. This is some of what he had to say.
3 days ago, I took the oath of office and we began the golden age of America. What the world has witnessed in the past 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense. Our country will soon be stronger, wealthier, and more united than ever before, and the entire planet will be more peaceful and prosperous as a result of this incredible momentum and what we're doing and going to do. My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. If you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff. Under the Trump administration, there will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA.
You know, Senator, It seems a pretty simple message. Hey, America's the best place in the world to do business, and if you choose to do so in America, we'll incentivize it and make it the best for you. If you choose to do it somewhere else, it's not going to be so easy. There will be tariffs.
Exactly. The inauguration speech, Will, he called out the Bidens, the Clintons, the Obamas right to their face. And he did the same thing to the people at Davos, all these woke climate change hoax people that they live for themselves. They don't live for the world. They don't live for anything other than making themselves richer. President Trump basically said, get on the ship or get off, folks, because we are changing the order of which we're doing business. And if you want to do business with America, you better move here and make it, because if you don't make it in America, we're going to tax the hell out of you.
Tuberville really does look happy these days.
Yes.
Like he just smiles, like beaming.
He's on fire.
Now, here's a little more. You heard Austin Barenko mention this moment. This was Trump calling out, I think the Bank of America CEO was there at the World Economic Forum, calling him out, essentially
Right
to his face, as Tuberville said. Let's listen in.
And by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, the whole debanking phenomenon.
Yeah.
And, Trump in these settings, because he keeps doing these press conferences, whether it's in front of like business titans, international business titans, or it's the White House press pool, or it's like he's in front of a more friendly crowd, he seems very casual about it, comfortable in his own skin,
Very much
like
so.
comfortable in the job, like sort of a sigh of relief as he gets going. Like, wow, and his whole demeanor is pretty remarkable, just throughout this whole few days. I find it encouraging, to say the least. And it does look like some of the delay game by Senate Democrats. You heard Coach Tuberville talking about. Ratcliffe got through. I think the threat from Cotton voiced the threat pretty well. Tom Cotton did on the floor, but I'm sure John Thune and others made it behind the scenes. Like, we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. And I think they caved. Some of the Democrats did. Like, okay, let's not do the hard way just yet.
Not yet, right.
John Ratcliffe has been confirmed as CIA director. Who I really want in there is Tulsi Gabbard. And I know she seemed to have softened or recanted on Section 702, which is very disappointing. My hope is, she's just saying what she needs to say. And then when she becomes the director of national intelligence, she tells the truth to Trump as she sees it. Because often what happens is that low-level analyst who's actually doing the information gathering and the data crunching, what he reports to his superior and as it goes up the chain is not what's told to the president.
It's interpreted.
And so I'm hoping, especially given Tulsi's background, that she'll try to go to the lowest level, the people actually working on the job. It's the same thing I'm hoping of Hegseth. Like, go to, say, the commander level. What exactly do you need to get the job done? Let's skip over a lot of this bureaucracy that often, the reason it changes is people tell their boss what they want to hear. It's common in every line of work often. And but especially in politics, especially for those folks trying to climb that ladder. It doesn't matter if you're a CIA agent or you're an analyst or a top flight 4-star general. This is why we have to reform these institutions and reform them quickly. The one disappointing thing, I guess, and Eddie and I have talked about this a little bit, is it really does seem true that as much as you and I personally love Vivek Ramaswamy, that on Christmas Eve, when he jumped into the H-1B conversation, it's like he blew up his welcome. Like he wore out his welcome.
Seems like it. But and then you wonder why Tulsi maybe isn't so eager to give her actual opinion on things. If you can get cut for expressing an opinion, I think it was a stupid opinion.
I thought it was
wrong.
halfway.
It was. I mean, yeah, I should say there's. The substance of it was all right. It was the conclusions that you sort of have to quibble with. But nonetheless, it's like, it doesn't, I guess you can have anybody in your camp that you want, but it doesn't bode well that if you divert from this in one area, even though you're aligned on so many things, and Vivek backed Trump throughout the latter part of the election, it just seems disappointing that he would get cast aside so flippantly.
Well, and maybe they say everybody parted on good terms. Maybe that is true, and it could be the deal is okay, Vivek, go make your own path. And I remember when folks were like, "Who's Trump going to pick for VP?" And Vivek's name came up. I'm like, I don't see it, and why I don't see it is people that are used to being the number one, the executive, the person running their shop. They don't often work well with other number ones, whether it's Trump or Elon Musk. And so Vivek says what he thinks on every topic under the sun. And I'd imagine for folks trying to work in particular specialties, it might be a bit annoying. But if he can actually blaze his own trail, it looks like he's going to announce for a governor's race in Ohio. So we'll see if bright things are in Vivek Ramaswamy's future. I just hope he doesn't go away because I think
not either.
He's a brilliant mind, and he's one of the best messengers, I think, for liberty, for small government, and for the reform that Trump did of the Republican Party. He really stood up for, I think, the MAGA concept in so many ways, more than a lot of folks in this last cycle. So I wish him well. I hope he's not out of the spotlight too much as we go forward. Again, 272-9228.
I got a feeling he'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how his run in Ohio will be as governor. I'd like it to be great. But
Well, I don't know that much about local Ohio politics.
Well, Ohio. Many times I've been to Ohio. It's a Midwestern Alabama.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it is what it is.
Well, and I guess it used to be a battleground state, but it's now pretty solid red, kind of like Florida is now. By the way, speaking of Florida, DeSantis took a particular reporter to task.
Oh?
I think, because we were talking yesterday, Eddie, about, like, is it illegal alien, undocumented?
Oh, yeah.
Because when you read these news reports, everybody has their own.
Are they one and the same?
Yeah, their own term for it. Well, this is DeSantis at a press conference, and he corrects the reporter before the reporter can even finish the question.
WJXC News Channel 4 here in Jacksonville. I just have 4 questions. One, Florida is home to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who are working in areas.
Well, so the federal government has made clear that the statutory term, it's not they're illegal aliens. That's the statutory term, and that's what it is. And I think it's to try to water down. I mean, like, undocumented, it's like if I get in my car and I forget my wallet, okay, I don't have my document on me, like my driver's license, but I mean, I still have a right to drive. I just made a mistake. This is intentional to come in illegally. And it's not just a question of missing a document. It's a question of, you violated the law that were very clear, and knowingly, and with the help of the cartels in many cases.
So I'll rephrase that. So Florida is home to hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants who are illegal aliens, if you want to call it, who are working in areas of agriculture, farming, construction, hospitality. I'm just wondering, once we start to see, these significant roundups of these people, is there a plan in place to help those industries, to prevent those industries from experiencing true hardship, financial hardship?
So here's what I'd say. They made the same arguments on 23 when we did our immigration Cayenne Road. We did E-Verify. When any of those industries, when they hire new people, they've got to verify their immigration status. Otherwise, they can't work. And people said, you are not going to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it really is amazing to people adjusting to the new rules of the road. Even though these rules of the road have been the rules for a long time, just nobody actually enforced them.
Right.
So we'll see with all that. 272-9228. Again, if you want to get in on the program. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, they're ready to help you fellas out, especially if you are tired all the live long day. Like, you're tired mentally and physically. Especially if you're like in your 40s or 50s and you're haunted by past memories of your younger self when you had that edge, that X factor, you could go all day, all night. Well, if you feel that way, it could be you have low testosterone. And here's the good news. The providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99, and they have low T treatments there, if that is indeed your problem, low testosterone, that can truly change men's lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, And you usually even notice an increased libido, like a true just life force. Like you're just ready to go all the time.
That's all right.
And you can actually book the same day you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. More of News and Views in the Afternoon, or as we call it online, Joey Clark Live, after this break.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Before you buy new floors at a discount store and get them installed by the cousin of a friend who does this kind of thing, consider the better option. Pratt-Built Carpet carries the most reputable brands for selection, style, and quality you can trust. And with their non-transferable lifetime installation warranty, you'll never have to worry about hardwood warping or carpet buckling. Your floors will stay as beautiful as the day they installed them.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Pratt-Built Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measure. Pratt-Built Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money?
Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit.
You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist?
That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839.
I see.
Yes, he is our preferred money man.
The money man with the money plan.
You've been paying attention.
Well, could you give us those numbers one more time?
334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man.
Oh, what's that?
I'm not an elk.
Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you?
Knights of Columbus.
I am not even going to make a comment.
Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Honey? Yeah? Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn. Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Oh, come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. You know, just give him a call. Full house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Our pattern of way below normal temperatures continues. It'll be a few days before we climb out of the Arctic cellar. Today's high temperature around 47 with a good bit of sunshine. Very cold again tonight with mostly clear skies. Low temperature down to about 19. Saturday's high up near 50 with almost total sunshine. Down to 29 on Saturday night. Risk of showers begins on Sunday afternoon, but a better chance Sunday night into Monday with a high both days up to about 55. That's still below normal, but better, and a high near 60 on Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon, or as we call this thing online, Joey Clark Live. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Y'all know the idea of, like, if you're so close to something, like, you can't see it.
Forest for the trees?
Yeah, or it's like one fish going by the other, and, like, the water's nice today, and, like, what's water?
Exactly.
Yeah, and we found one of these moments. It's former Politico reporters Mark Caputo and Tara Palmieri, if that's how you say it. And they're talking about the Joe Biden laptop. And at one point they're like, the Hunter Biden laptop that implicated Joe and Hunter and a bunch of other folks in it. They're talking about, at one point, they get snarky, like, oh, people talk about the mainstream media isn't fair. Well, it wasn't us. And it's like, guys, you're too close to it, but let me play the clip, because it's like they're talking past the point that everybody not in corporate media has been making. Let's listen into these two.
Politico did that terrible, ill-fated headline. 51 intelligence agents, or former intelligence agents, say that the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation.
Right.
Or bore the hallmarks of disinformation. Turns out that story was closer to disinformation because the Hunter Biden laptop appeared to be true.
But then Facebook also pulled all stories down about the Hunter Biden laptop, and I think Twitter did at the same time too.
Correct.
Yeah.
They punished the New York Post. It didn't help. I mean, Politico, my former employer, and I knew at the time, didn't do itself any favors. I was covering Biden at the time, and I remember coming to my editor and saying, hey, we need to write about the Hunter Biden laptop. And I was told this came from on high at Politico. Don't write about the laptop, don't talk about the laptop, don't tweet about the laptop. And the only thing Politico wound up writing was that piece that called it disinformation, which charitably could be called misinformation at the least.
Yeah, I mean, I had a hard time. I wrote some pretty serious reporting on Hunter Biden, which actually ended up getting him prosecuted, the story on the gun.
Yeah, and I remember you consulted with me because you did the original report on the gun. And you came to me like, how do I write about this? I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, because it was hard to get it done.
You figured it out. Yeah.
I spent three months on it. I went to the laptop shop and I did all of the reporting in Delaware, and I did all of that. But yeah, it had to be like it had to be 100% nailed down. I had everything, the police reports, I'm a solid reporter, but I do wonder if it would have been published a little quicker. If it was a different type of story.
Well, since we're spilling tea about our former employer, I still have a copy of the story on my external hard drive. In 2019, a rival presidential Democratic campaign of Joe Biden's gave to me the tax lien, the Oppo research, the tax lien on Hunter Biden for the period of time that he worked at Burisma. And I wrote what would have been a classic story saying, the former vice president's son was slapped with a big tax lien for the period of time that he worked for this controversial Ukrainian oil concern or natural gas concern, which is haunting his father on the campaign trail. That story was killed by the editors, and they gave no explanation for that either.
Interesting.
So that general experience, obviously the public doesn't know about those things, but as a reporter, having witnessed the way in which the two candidates
we just get called like the terrible mainstream media. It's like you don't understand the process there.
We also don't understand the dumb decision of cowardly editors.
Guys, we understand it. How about cowardly reporters that wouldn't speak out against their editors or maybe quit Politico and go write a Substack?
I was just doing my job. What is the problem?
It's
that's literally they don't understand how it works. No, guys, you silly simpletons. The reason I was dishonest was because I was told to be.
Right. I was trying to be honest, but they gagged me.
Exculpation completed. And that's the thing she talked about when she said, "Oh, Twitter took it down too." It's like, no, yes, they did do that. You couldn't send it in a DM.
Right.
I don't even know how you do that. You couldn't send the story the way I think it was New York Post. You couldn't send the New York Post story in a DM, much less share it to your feed. It's like they did more than just take it down. They blocked it.
Right. And so like say oligarchy.
Yeah.
That word's old original because of rich people with a lot of power, right?
No, the oligarchy of power and control that you write a story about the Bidens that would be as standard as that guy just laid out. Caputo just laid out. That'd be a normal story in normal political times, but because it's about Joe Biden and his son, well, they just killed it. Because it was about Joe Biden and his son, I had to really be careful about how I wrote about the laptop story, and the tech companies all censored it. And it's like, guys, you're talking past these systems of control that you were a part of, maybe unwittingly. I don't believe that. But, like, come on. It's useful information, the inside view, but still.
But he said cowardly editors. It's not cowardice.
No, it's not cowardice.
That's not cowardice. That's willfully ignoring the truth because you have a political agenda.
You're on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
You get that job because you're on the team.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, there doesn't, for the most part, there doesn't even need to be like a true conspiracy with these people. It's like the Washington Post isn't conspiring with the New York Times.
Right.
They both are part of the same team, and there's just a general understanding that we don't shoot people on our own team.
Exactly.
The Democrats are very good at that, by the way. Much better than Republicans.
Oh, yes.
272-9228. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
I'm sorry I double called, but I just found y'all on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I love your show on YouTube. Look, Joey, from the first time I met you, you got some facial hair and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do have a lot of suggestions that I would give to your show.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wanted to talk to me but Eddie, look at Eddie right there.
How you doing, Robert?
I'm glad you found us, Robert.
Eddie, when you gonna start putting stuff on them eye bags, brother?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I need to, Robert.
Hey, no, dude. I like seeing you. I didn't mean nothing bad by it. I was just like, there's these commercials when you're 40 years old. You gonna do this or do this? Nah, you look good, brother, and y'all got a good show. But I do have, and I ain't watched it but 15 minutes.
Right,
and
right.
I got
And you found it by
out the yin yang.
And you
okay,
and you found it searching for Joey Clark Live.
That's the way to do it.
That's right. I mean, it took me, you know I'm not too smart, so it took me a long time. But I see you face to face now, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, all I'm at.
Just press your lips up against the screen, and it's almost like you're getting a smooch from the man himself.
And look at the time. We got it. I appreciate it, Robert.
See you, Robert.
272-9228. I mean, what do you think is the future of, like, CNN, for instance? They're going to have a lot of layoffs. It is delicious that Jim Acosta was moved to, like, the midnight slot.
Night shift, baby. That's when they know that they need you when they move you to third shift.
Yeah, he was putting bourbon in his coffee already.
But they're trying to do this transition into streaming and all this stuff. And part of me is like, okay, if you really did give people free creative reign and it's more of a podcast style, and then you still have the investigative reporting and assets like network around the country and the world, maybe you got something that works. But it just seems like they're incapable of making this shift into the new world.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they tried with that, what was it, like CNN Plus or whatever, the streaming service that completely took a dump. I think the only hope for them, because the Trump administration the second Trump administration could turn into like good fodder for them, to where the angry libs start watching again, where they feel like they didn't need to under Biden.
Sure.
But I think if they were smart, and I don't know if this would work, but it would be the best tactic, is to go after some liberals with already established podcasts and cut them a big old check and have them move over to your network. So that way it's almost like you're adopting or embracing new media with open arms. You know, get someone in like that Secular Talk wackadoo or Destiny or someone. Move him over to your network, or just put his show on your network as a CNN show, and that way you're bringing in that audience, and you're also bringing something fresh that might bring some eyes, even if it's critical eyes, to your station.
Yeah, if you took breaking points like Crystal and Sager and made it a CNN show, or at least if I was Crystal and Sager, I'd say no.
Of course
we're doing fine.
Of course not. That's why it's going to have to be a big friggin' number,
right?
But not, and again, there's going to be people like the Crystal and Sagers that are not going to do it. Jimmy Dore would never do it.
Tim Pool
Tim Pool would never do it. Even on the liberal side, I don't think like a Destiny would do it. A Young Turks, like a Cenk Uygur, he definitely wouldn't do it.
Right.
So I don't know what that leads you to. It's either going to be that, or they're going to have to really try to do some talent development and really hope that their donors still cut the checks.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm not trying to help them. It's just more like it's
they're
interesting
floundering.
watching. Yes,
Yeah.
it's interesting watching the floundering.
Yeah.
It really is plain as day.
But they might. I'm telling you that's the best tactic from my humble opinion. But I still don't think that. I think they're doomed. They're bleeding. Like even some of the outlets we have in this state that are really focused on a lot of television reporting and traditional, nighttime news type stuff. Once your demographic dies off in the next 20 years, you're going to be left in the lurch.
Watch them, they're god awful.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I hate it. Stations that I grew up here just thought the world of growing up. They are awful.
Yeah.
God awful.
And even but they haven't done well with returning to print. Even their printed stuff is terrible.
It is. Yeah. There's not. Honest to God, most of it, we catch a little bit of local news, but mostly weather.
Well, and I have an uncle who just retired from the newspaper business. He was editor, like a top editor. He did business for a few years, did politics desk, like at the Orlando Sentinel. And he got his start at the Montgomery Advertiser, like went to journalism school at Auburn. He's a big old lib. Like he thinks like everybody voted for Trump in the family are fascists. And we're like, okay, see you at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Montgomery Advertiser.
We still love you, whatever.
Advertisers just
not even worth putting at the bottom of the cage for the bird no more.
From his point of view, like why he retired, and he kind of wish he had done it earlier, is as an editor, he used to have 2 or 3 investigative reporters that would do maybe 2 stories a year, and you would pay them and give them the resource to really investigate something.
Yeah.
And he said it turned into clickbait. And he's like, wait, I've worked here for 30 years. He is very good at actually assembling stories. He has fun stories about when he called out Joe Reed at one point he did some great work at the Montgomery Advertiser and at the Orlando Sentinel. And he watched that industry he loved and worked in turn into this zombie of its former self. And it continues.
Yeah.
And in ways, I'm like, good riddance. And in another way, because there are good people working wherever with different opinions. And, I'm not cheering for people to lose their jobs. There are exceptions. But you got to wonder what's next, especially with the local nexus. What is next?
Well, convenience factor. I got it right here. I don't need the newspaper. And then plus what I read from them is garbage anyway. I need them even less.
And what if you started a nonprofit that's supported by the population that
good luck.
It's like like somebody.
But
that
one
is
really good one I know of. That's about it. Yeah.
Well, but that is
1918.
Yeah, something like that.
But I know nothing about the higher up operations of the company, but it does speak well that we've made the progress that we have in the few years that we have. We are beat only by that one huge Soros funded outlet. Dun dun. But we'll get them eventually. But I mean, you also have to. I think that what the new media people, if they realize you have to develop personalities, because people, when you don't trust institutions like the New York Times, like CNN, like MSNBC, these sort of legacy media types, you have to begin to trust personalities. And that's why it's like people know who the Daily Wire is, but it's like, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, those types, Patrick Bet-David. I honestly can't think of the name of his news network right now because Valuetainment. I just know Patrick Bet-David.
Right.
So all these podcasters and streamers, you trust what they say because you trust the people, because you've gotten to know them as persons.
And also Bet-David's show, or of course Rogan, but a lot of these shows, it's not like they're sitting there going, everything we say is the truth. It is more people talking like normal people, and they're thinking out loud. Yeah. And half the stuff might be wrong, but I'm not sitting here claiming everything.
Yeah, that's like when my just earlier my Grover Cleveland and James Garfield. I think I call him Andrew Garfield, even because I think of the actor. I say wrong stuff all the time. I'm basically R-worded. So
he finally admits.
Yeah. Pretty much. So, but yeah, it's like we're just here having a silly goose time. I'm not intentionally trying to deceive people, which is what the legacy media has done. Like, we assume it's really been the past the past decade where it's really become clear. But think about how long has that been the modus operandi? Have we ever gotten the truth? Our history books don't tell us the truth, much less if we can believe that something that was written about. Never mind.
I know. I see. Yeah. I know where you're getting at.
Yeah. So yeah, they're in trouble, and they should be.
272-9228. I guess the moral of this segment is we all have a place in this world.
Romani.
We'll have to go back to that song.
Yeah, why haven't we sang it?
I know. I'm feeling the privilege come back, and
I was walking past a minority just now, and I just had the urge to trip them. I think I need to sing the song.
That is very bad.
Yeah, that's.
Right.
I'm going through. I need.
Yeah,
my
you're
privilege
backsliding.
withdrawals,
Well,
yeah.
okay. Well, we'll get to that, and then also the New York Times wrote a report about liberal parents losing their sons to MAGA. Their sons are watching YouTube and parroting these right-wing zealots.
Why can't you watch porn like a normal teenager? Are you watching this Michael Knowles fella?
Here, get. I'll pay for your OnlyFans so you can watch Bonnie Blue and sleep with 1,000 guys. All right.
Video game streaming. Ever heard of it?
Which, by the way, we haven't talked about on the show because I didn't know how to talk about it. But like, there are porn stars competing to see how many men they can sleep with, like the breaking the world record or something.
I got a lot of questions about that.
Woo!
Yeah. Those used to be called Catholic schoolgirls back in the day.
Goodness gracious!
Am I right, Joe? You went to Catholic school.
No.
King of the friend zone.
Right. No,
I was really good. I did all of the Catholic girls' homework while they were busy. While they were busy getting syphilis, I did their homework. That was my job.
There's two of them.
I'm just, for some reason, a Billy Joel song came to mind. Anyway.
There was two of them that are competing, right? Or kind of going back and forth. Who can be the bigger whore?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gross. That's my instinct when I saw that story. I'm like, ew.
I can outslut you.
Imagine being like guy number 99. Like,
how about 999?
Yeah, 999.
It's just not sanitary.
There's so many reasons.
God, what do you think their relationship with their fathers are like? Good? No.
Not so much.
Goodness gracious.
Not so much.
Ugh, and it's stuff like that where I'm like, okay, that's we're going in the wrong direction. Wrong direction. I know we all have a place in this world, but like, okay.
Apparently that place is in the nether regions of these two ladies.
Goodness. 272-9228. Good God. How about this? Let's hit a break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
For more information, send an email to digital@BlueWaterBroadcasting.com.
For many children, stability is something they have never experienced. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, we offer hope, healing, and a family to children in need. But behind every success story, our house parents are the heart of our ranches. We're looking for compassionate couples to join our mission. We provide housing, medical benefits, a 401k, paid vacation, and the chance to make a lasting difference. The Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches. Be the love, be the guidance, be the family they need. Visit alsyr.org.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, Joey. How are you?
Oh, I'm just ready for the weekend. Looking forward to having a couple days off. What's the score there today at Cohen's?
34-7.
Ooh, that's a pretty good score.
All right.
Yeah. So I tell you, after snow days, it's like everybody here is humping it, except for my receptionist. She's not doing that. She's a slacker. Is she? Your last name Bader? No. I'm just kidding. So
Does she show up every day?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's been humping it today. Trying to catch up for the days that we lost with the snow.
Absolutely. And folks, if you're looking for top of the line electronics or appliances, you got to stop by Cohen's, and especially if you're buying a big ticket item like a new washer and dryer, or maybe a new like 85-inch, 98-inch TV. You got to go see this stuff in person and actually consult the pros there at Cohen's. And I would say it's y'all 60 plus years. Y'all have great products, but it's the service that seems to make the difference to me.
Well, I wish I could tell you that Sony or Samsung or Whirlpool and Sub-Zero and everybody, they build their stuff for Cohen's better than they build it for everybody else. But, it's the same stuff. And so it is the service, and hopefully it's the salespeople that help guide you to the right product, because, every TV is not created equal, or washing machine or dishwasher, whatever. Everybody's got different needs that they need to have that make them, and then they have different circumstances that it's got to work within. And so, our guys, we want all the questions so that once it gets delivered and installed, you're happy with it, and everything works as it should.
So y'all check out Cohen's today. You can always go to thinkcohens.com to shop from home, peruse from home. But I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard. It's 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And when you stop by, be sure to tell them that, hey, I heard Michael on that radio show with Joey and Eddie. I think his name's Eddie Bader.
Yeah, he's related to the Darth Vader. But anyway, y'all have a great weekend. And
you too, Michael.
Thanks, Michael.
See you, man.
Well, we got the final hour coming up. Do you see Jeff Poor found this, I guess. Wall Street Journal reports Alabama-Auburn football programs at more than $800 million each. Like, that's the value of those football programs, ranked 11th and 12th highest overall in the nation. It's a pretty big chunk of change.
Pretty good.
You're almost talking about billion-dollar operations there.
But if we had one NFL team, do you think it would have the combined of those two values?
Probably not.
I don't think so either. College ball, I'm not an NFL guy, but I love college ball. There's a lot of people like me like that.
Also, we'll get into that New York Times write-up of liberal parents losing their sons to MAGA online. It kind of is a great read. And then I don't know how you feel about the Shroud of Turin, gentlemen.
Ugh.
You don't
freaking thing about the Shroud of Turin.
They found some pollen that was on it that's only local to Jerusalem. That means that this was
Oh, shut up. Shut up.
Can you explain how the image was made?
It was. Well, I'm sure it's the image of a person, but it's like, this is definitely Jesus. I quote Desiderius Erasmus when I say when I join him in mocking this obsession with icons, especially amongst you papists. I'm sorry, but he said that if we assembled all the alleged pieces of the cross together, we could build a boat.
Hey, I was only raised a papist. You don't know what I am.
No, I'm talking to the papists who can hear me. You know who you are.
Hail Mary, full of grace. Anyway, hey, we're not doing the rosary. We're hitting a break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. America's largest pro-life demonstration in our nation's capital. After decades of fighting to overturn Roe versus Wade, organizers of the March for Life are seeking to focus on the multiple state-by-state battles that are taking place over abortion rights. President Trump says he's considering getting rid of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Mr. Trump made the remark in North Carolina during a briefing on the months-long recovery from Hurricane Helene. He said FEMA has been a very big disappointment, and the agency is bureaucratic and slow. His next stop will be out west. He will be inspecting fire-ravaged Southern California. On Wall Street, the Dow dropping 109 points, the NASDAQ Composite losing 100. This is SRN News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336, 800-444-9336, or biglou.com.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Our pattern of way below normal temperatures continues. It'll be a few days before we climb out of the Arctic cellar. Today's high temperature around 47 with a good bit of sunshine. Very cold again tonight with mostly clear skies. Low temperature down to about 19. Saturday's high up near 50 with almost total sunshine. Down to 29 on Saturday night. Risk of showers begins on Sunday afternoon, but a better chance Sunday night into Monday with a high both days up to about 55. That's still below normal, but better, and a high near 60 on Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
An illegal alien living here in Alabama was front and center in a television episode called Takedown with Chris Hansen. 38-year-old Stanley Ambe is from Kenya. He was arrested in Blount County after he traveled there from Birmingham to a place where he thought he would be meeting an underage girl for sex. Ambe was found in possession of a machete, gun, and sex materials when he was arrested at the Sting House. Ambe has been working as a mechanic in Bessemer and told Hansen on camera that he learned how to be a mechanic through YouTube videos. Blount County Sheriff Mark Moon said it's a shame that people come to live in America and only throw away that opportunity by committing a crime. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
There has been one fatality in Montgomery County as a result of a house fire that happened earlier this week. The identity of that person who died in the flames has not been released. The cause of the blaze is also under investigation. In Jefferson County, a traffic stop by sheriff's deputies resulted in the seizure of 50 pounds of marijuana, as well as the arrest of 3 people. The stop was made on Interstate 20 and Kilgore Memorial Drive. Alexandro Favela, Yolanda Favela, and Dennis Marroquin are all being held without bond on drug trafficking charges. A missing Talladega man has been found dead in his own home. 46-year-old Antonio Colbert was last seen on January 14th. Police say the case is under investigation, but there's no immediate signs of foul play. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Are you happy with your IT support company? Do they resolve your company's computer issues quickly, or do they leave you down and frustrated? You need your computers working and problems resolved quickly and permanently. GTI is different. GTI has a high standard of affordably supporting and protecting businesses like yours since 1999. Call them now at 819-4650, 819-4650, or visit gtinow.com.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here on a Friday. I think we had way too much fun in the first 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That it's been still got an hour. I got an hour. I also didn't sleep well last night.
Oh no, why? Too much caffeine?
I don't know. I think I could get into it.
Do you listen to things when you go to sleep? I have to.
No, I mean sometimes I'll do that. I'll leave the TV on the background, but I generally know I can just fall asleep. I think I got off certain medication, hasn't come back yet.
Oh yeah,
and it just
is
messing with me. But
the
I'll
heroin
be right.
truck lands tonight, Joey. You'll be fine.
Stop dipping into your ketamine stash and put down the bomb.
Nasal ketamine spray is about to be FDA approved.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. You didn't see that story?
No.
They're talking about it as a treatment for depression.
I've never tried ketamine.
You've never done ketamine? As someone who's done plenty of ketamine, let me tell you, it is a great temporary fix to depression. There's nothing. There's nothing that will make you sad when you're in a K-hole. Let me tell you that. Okay. Other than maybe ODing. But yeah, the FDA approved. I think it's a nasal spray that they talked about as a treatment for depression. And they've been talking about depression cures with LSD, psilocybin, ketamine, MDMA. I don't understand how MDMA can be effective because it's you might be in a great mood that day,
but the blues.
The next day is as close to as someone who's had depression and has done MDMA, the closest you can get to life-ending depression is the day after you've done Molly. It's the worst feeling on planet Earth. And I've had withdrawals from multiple drugs. MDMA is the worst one.
I had a guy who lived next to me in an apartment at Auburn who was real into that stuff, and he just was so messed up. You see the effects. He was just in his car one morning when I left for class. I'm like, you all right, man? Because he played drums. We played music together sometimes. And you could just see, okay, he's a paper-thin version of himself at that moment. And he talked to me about, I just feel so down. I just took this thing for a few days.
Yeah. And that's what I'm very skeptical about ketamine, because it essentially is what Quaaludes are. It's a horse tranquilizer, essentially. And I've talked to people that have done both, and, because... Us young drug users, we weren't around for the Quaalude. Yeah, and so, but I've heard it's the same thing, and Quaaludes didn't go so well. So I don't know.
Some
know
people
how
loved
it's
them,
go.
but when you look back and see what happened, not so good.
I just don't think that there is a true pharmaceutical, a pharmaceutical treatment to chronic sadness. I don't think that there is one.
Well,
look what happened to Jordan Peterson, for God's sake.
Oh yeah. Oh, with what was he on?
Benzodiazepines.
Yeah. I think it was Klonopin. I think it was even a fairly mild dose, but he had done it so long.
Yeah, there are two drugs. There are two drugs that can kill you from the withdrawals. One are benzodiazepines, and the other is alcohol. Those are the only ones that can actually kill you because of the chemical dependence that you get. Which I don't know if it bodes well for his wisdom that he chose to go that route. But nonetheless, I have yet to see pharmaceutical interventions for depression go well for anybody.
Well, have you heard Trump's advice about depression?
No, what did he say? Diet Coke?
No, he said,
and a Slavic wife.
If you're depressed, work your ass off. There's not time to be depressed. Go, 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 go.
Well, there's something to that. Yeah, there's something.
He's right.
Something to that.
Let me tell you, when I got sober, I told this story, and I still have this axe head at home. I had been sober for 3-4 days at this point. I don't know, because I didn't sleep. It was one of the greatest ironies when I got sober. My day drinking started, my 24/7 drinking started because I needed something to get to sleep, and then eventually I needed something to wake me up, and then it just became all day. But when I got sober, I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep for maybe 4 or 5 days. And so day number 3, 4, can't remember. I was so deliriously tired that I don't know what happened. I had nothing to do. This was right in the middle of COVID, but I ended up at Home Depot. Don't know how I got there, and I was buying an axe. Next thing you know, I'm just trudging this axe out into the woods and just start hacking at trees. And I did so until, because I was so sad, I was very depressed, thought that the world was ending. I chopped at these trees until I couldn't hold it anymore. And I went indoors, and everything was okay. And that's what got me into the gym, and that's what, like, really getting sober developed my work ethic, because I was obviously self-medicating. And yeah, filling that hole with a good amount of God's honest labor really did help.
Exactly right.
I think there's something to that.
I only brought up the ketamine thing because earlier this week we found we call him a John Kennedy palate cleanser.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, when things seem a little down or I'm a little tired, it's like, well, let's just go to Senator Kennedy. He should find a pick-me-up. What he's talking about is these islands here that the UN demanded the UK give back to another island in the area.
Yeah.
Because they're dirty colonialists. Well, the United States has a submarine base on one of the tiny islands that the UK gave away.
Wait,
It's much more than submarine.
Submarine bases?
Yeah.
I didn't know that submarines needed bases.
Well, it's more than just a submarine base.
Like a mushroom cloud base?
Yeah, it's a very serious one in that regard. And it's also strategically middle of nowhere, south of India. Yeah. And so it's key for restocking and controlling, that part of the world. That said, Kennedy is pleading that the UK don't do this. Don't sell this back because the UN pressured you. And by the way, we, the United States, are not going to rent or lease our military base, especially as the Chinese start to expand in the region. But then Kennedy has a message for the prime minister. Let's listen to it.
Give it to Mauritius, and we're going to start paying Mauritius £9 billion over 10 years. And you know who went along with it? The prior administration.
Yep.
Now, I've talked to President Trump about this, and I've talked to Marco Rubio about this, our esteemed new Secretary of State. And I'm hoping they're going to do something about it. The United Nations has no jurisdiction over the United Kingdom or us in America. And this is our military base.
You're here.
And already, if we give the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, Mauritius says they'll lease us our own base for about $9 billion over 10 years. Already, China is circling Mauritius. Already, China is trying to be Mauritius's best friend. And I don't have anything against the government of Mauritius. They're wonderful people. I understand they want the money. They want our money. They want your money. They want us to pay them for our own military base. We need to stop this deal. President Trump and Secretary Rubio need to pick up the phone and call Prime Minister Starmer in the United Kingdom and say to the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, with all due respect, stop dipping into your ketamine stash. Put down the bomb. We need this military base
It's down there.
to combat China.
And the fact that was said from the floor of the United States Senate.
Yeah.
Stop dipping into your ketamine stash.
I love him so much, not because I agree with his politics in every respect, certainly more so than most in that building, but the fact that he really sounds like he shouldn't be as smart as he is, it just makes me so happy to
and
see
that's
him
the whole
shred people.
That's the whole shtick.
It's a shtick, yeah. It's fantastic,
Because
and I love it.
that's one of the smartest guys up there. Very clearly.
Wait, what did he quote? He quoted like Suetonius in something that he gave, and I was like, bro, what? He was like, as Suetonius said in the 12 Caesars. I was just like, bro, okay, this guy is serious.
My favorite. I've said this many times before in there, but I'm going to say it again. It's Senator John Kennedy, who we just played on with Sean Hannity. And the segment, you know how Hannity will just filibuster for a while and then reaction? Hannity is filibustering. The whole segment's point is about John Kerry flying private jets to all these big international things as he's the energy czar or the climate change guy for Biden and team. And so it ends up being a piece about elitism, like John Kerry's elitism. And Senator Kennedy makes a point that I always fly coach back to Louisiana. And Sean says another thing about, what an elitist. And then there's a pregnant pause, and Kennedy's response is, well, Sean,
as, to quote the great existentialist philosopher John Paul Sartre, to be is to act. And John Kerry's actions are showing he's nothing. I'm like, wait, you're criticizing for him being an elitist and you're quoting Sartre. And then he had another one this week. This guy really does know how to do a soundbite. I don't even know who he was talking to in this. It's a lot of fun.
You served in Washington for years. You're going to be called, you're going to be challenging the status quo. You're going to be called crazy. Many people also called Noah crazy. And then the rains came. And all the fact checkers died. You have to persevere.
The wolf man behind him really liked that.
I know. I love these serious Washington staffers. Like, what did he just say? What did he just throw out there? You never know. With
I thought he said for a split second, all the fat chicks died.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, where'd you get that information? It's true. They probably ran slower, but nobody got into the ark. I mean,
2729228. So, real quick, I forgot to mention them last hour. This part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon, they're ready. They're ready to help you buy a home here in 2025 or refinance that home. Get that credit card debt off your back. Maybe allow you to reinvest in your property. Maybe you've always wanted a staircase. Maybe you've always wanted a little add-on there. Yeah. Maybe you got a kid graduating college. They're going off to a brand new city. And you know what? I want to help them out. They did such a great job at college. In fact, they got a scholarship, and I'm going to go and help them. I mean, there's all sorts of situations where you want to use the equity built up in your home, and Alabama Home Mortgage can help you do that with a great refinance deal. Or if you are purchasing a home, they can walk you through that home buying process. All starts with just a simple conversation with Kim and Madeline. They ask you a few basic questions about your finances, and then they'll give you a pre-approval. Here's how much house you're good for, so to speak.
Exactly.
And they'll walk with you every step of the way from pre-approval all the way to closing day. So call them right now, 567-4223. That's 567-4223, or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. So it's like, I'm looking at the New York Times right now, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And in like the big headline is, when your son goes MAGA. Some liberal parents face a new unexpected challenge: how to talk to their children who voted for Donald J. Trump. Y'all ready for this?
Right.
It is easy for Alex Baer to gush about her son, Eli, whom she describes as a generous and thoughtful college junior who had a serious skateboarding phase. Oh, man, those rascally kids. It is much harder for her to talk about his politics. Miss Baer, 59, is a Democrat in Portland, Oregon, who voted enthusiastically for Vice President Kamala Harris in the November election. She and her ex-husband were appalled that Eli, who's 20, decided to cast his very first vote in a presidential election this fall for Donald J. Trump. When Eli brought a Make America Great Again hat home from his college this summer, Miss Baer threw it into the corner of his bedroom. They argued about guns. They argued about immigration. They argued about abortion, struggling to do so without permanently damaging their relationship. Facts don't matter to you, Miss Baer wrote in a moment of frustration during one text exchange about Mr. Trump's legal battles. Love you. Have a good day. A few months removed from Mr. Trump's victory, the two have arrived at an impasse. Miss Baer worries her son is being swayed by conservative opinions fed to him on YouTube and Instagram. Maybe Donald Sterling was onto something. Get off Instagram! You want to write about the other stuff, but, Instagram, that's where the devil will get you. Eli feels like he's simply learning to think for himself, a quality he admires in Mr. Trump. He's not afraid to say what he thinks, Eli said in an interview. It seems like what he says is coming from him instead of coming from a big cabinet behind you telling you what to say. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. I want to stop there because I've noticed this in the just few days Trump's been back in office.
Yeah.
Even politicians I like, so many of them look like they're reading a pre-scripted thing, because many of them are.
with Trump, or in many cases with John Kennedy and a few other big personalities, they seem to rise above that scripted nature of Washington. And in fact, Trump does improvise, and he seems to talk like a normal person. He might be withholding information, as you probably should if you're a president, but he, generally speaking, is always telling you how he feels and what he thinks, and nobody, not even his closest advisors, probably not even Melania, can tell him otherwise. So I think this kid is hitting on what a lot of people like about Trump, is that he's authentic, for better or for worse. Back to this piece. Mr. Trump has for nearly a decade been a source of political divides within families, cleaving new fault lines along the way. In 2016, as younger voters leaned towards Hillary Clinton over Mr. Trump, it was easy to find left-leaning children loudly bemoaning the politics of their Trump-supporting parents online and in the news, which gives credence to the old phrase, folks, you don't hate Trump, you just hate dad. This time around, there is a fresh wrinkle, though. Although young voters as a whole preferred Miss Harris, Mr. Trump secured a second term in office with the help of improved performance among young men. That has, in some families, exposed a different dynamic. Liberal parents contending with their conservative sons. I love this. In one of several articles of its kind published in 2016, The Cut interviewed Mrs. Clinton's supporters about their Trump voting fathers. By 2024, one of the publication's columnists was instead asking, can parents prevent their sons from sliding to the right? On behalf of progressives like herself. Some liberal parents aren't so sure they should try to intervene. Plenty see their son's embrace of Mr. Trump as an expected act of rebellion or a choice made by an independent young adult that they should respect. For others, it has felt like a painful rejection of the values they have tried to instill in their children. I've had to do a lot of soul searching and reading about it to not feel like I failed as a mom, said Miss Bear, who adopted Eli from China when he was 10 months old. In tearful therapy sessions, she has come to believe that pressuring her son to share her views was only making him more deeply entrenched. You think, lady? Over Christmas break, the pair watched The Godfather 2 and hiked in Forest Park, avoiding any talk about politics. Eli said he was confident his closer relationship with his mother would survive their political differences. I love my mom, said Eli, who now refrains from wearing his MAGA hat around her. I want her to stay a part of my family. Research has typically supported that parents pass along their political loyalties to their children. When children are young, parents have more control over their political influences. As they grow closer to voting age, the onslaught of messaging becomes harder to monitor. In a hyper-digital world, parents' influence may be waning, says Christopher Oyeha, or I don't know how to say that last name. Sorry, I studied French, not Spanish, an assistant professor of political science at the University of California, and an author of 2 studies on party identification across generations. Parents used to decide what news channels played on the TV and which newspaper arrived on the family's doorstep. Children might have encountered opposing political opinions at school, but it's not like they had an endless supply of information about alternative ideas to what their parents were presenting them, says the trusty professor from California. Today, though, social media has given young people access to a world of information about politics far beyond their parents' visibility or control, much of it targeted toward young men. Is it targeted toward young men or young men creating, this is just me talking, organic spaces where they're doing stuff?
But that's exactly
They've always done.
It's
Yeah.
that's a fraternity part of being a dude.
Yeah.
Building forts.
YouTube is, I
everything.
think, still some like 70% men and
No
usually
doubt.
skews younger. And it's like, well, that's just where we're at. And what are the other guys talking about? And there's a lot of different stuff that could come your way.
Yeah.
It's not like just politics by any means.
That's why, I mean, there's the people really into gaming. There's people really into anime, into movies, into books, into whatever. There's a lot of spaces out there that aren't political.
But with YouTube, I mean, there's a million different spaces in itself. Everything from outdoors to motor rebuilding. I mean, there's a million different genres I watch on there traveling.
Sure.
So,
It's
yeah.
like I'll be listening to a political debate, and then I'll watch a bunch of Australian guys throw heavy stuff off dams. Like,
Oh, cool. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. That is
exactly.
so cool.
It's like they throw an anvil onto a car from the top of a dam,
got
and
targets down there.
I'll watch it 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, and it goes from like I'm watching an old Charlie Rose Harold Bloom interview about his book Hamlet Poem Unlimited because Hamlet's coming out in April at the Shakespeare Festival.
Yay!
So hopefully they
Still
don't
waiting
screw
on
it
my
up.
invite. What?
Hopefully they don't screw it up.
Yeah. It's like Hamlet's now a black tranny or something.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. Actually, Bloom writes about that in his books, The School of Resentment.
There's I love the Alabama Shakespeare Festival puts on some good stuff, but
They really
are so woke it makes their teeth hurt.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of the deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can go from that to like, here's two jokers. Y'all know who Rhett and Link are, right?
Yeah.
We tried all the flavors of Kit Kats, and it's like, okay, stupid
Well, you
stuff.
got Alabama Boss on there. He drinks different beer sometimes, and
Right.
I mean, just it's every genre under the sun. There should be.
Wait, like so and so's on Rogan? All right,
Yeah, there you go.
Watching them eat, I'll watch Rhett and Link eat gross, obscure snacks from across the world every day of the week.
It's very funny. Those guys, and talk about guys that were early to the game.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Like they've built quite a thing, and I don't think they're very conservative. The point is, it's like you can go down all sorts of rabbit holes because that's just where you're at, and YouTube works for better or for worse. It works beautifully. And I know people are trying to make Rumble happen and stuff. Rumble is not as easy to use, and it's not
right.
as-
It's not as user friendly. It's
Right.
And but honestly, we go back to TikTok. That's the biggest thing with TikTok. It's so user friendly. You click a button. If the first video don't make me smile, the second one will. There's no ads. There's just nothing.
Yeah, but YouTube I think is more conducive to community than TikTok.
Oh,
is,
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
because they'll do these live, like these podcasts will do like lives, and then they have tier memberships,
Mhm.
and then they'll have chats. You can do super chats where you engage with them.
Yep.
YouTube has really stepped into where like there's a lot of community building going on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so, like the stuff I'm about to read, I'm looking at going like, well, duh. In the months leading up to the election, the Trump campaign conducted a full court press to appeal to this demographic young men, aligning Mr. Trump with a constellation of podcast hosts and YouTubers who put out irreverent entertainment while validating young men's frustrations with the status quo. Wait, okay, so Trump went on Theo Vaughn?
Yep.
I don't remember Theo Vaughn complaining about young men's frustrations with the status quo.
He said a few things about the struggles of being a young man and stuff like that. But it's definitely not been.
Oh yeah,
his
and
mainstay.
Theo's been very honest about porn addiction.
Yeah, I mean,
and
a
all
lot of times he's
drugs
talking about
and-
himself, his
Yeah.
own problems. So, yeah.
Right.
And then all of that to be pranked by the Logan brothers at
Yeah, I know, in
an
the chair.
inauguration.
I know.
Time and place, people. Time and
But
place.
like Flagrant's another one of those. That's mostly a comedy podcast. Like they're not, and I think that's where they're sort of missing the mark here. The move seems to have been broadly effective. While support for Mr. Trump was strongest among young white men, he also made inroads among young black and Latino voters. Before 2020, Chris and Melanie Moreland, who both lean Democrat and live in Spokane, Washington, shocking, had mostly heard their son echo political beliefs that resembled their own. He began to sound different around the time of Black Lives Matter protest in Portland, Seattle, Miss Moreland said, which he told her had gotten too out of control. He began listening to YouTube channels like Better Bachelor, which disparages feminism and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Its host also cheers on Mr. Trump. See, I don't even know what Better Bachelor is.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
I was like, who's got a hold of my son? Said Miss Moreland, 64, a marriage and family therapist.
There's your problem.
Oh. Miss Moreland says her son, now a 24-year-old who voted for Mr. Trump in the 2024 election, seems to have been drawn into an online sphere that affirmed his fears and vulnerabilities as he was aging into masculinity. See, they always put it in these stupid pseudo-psychological it's fear-based. It's just resentment. Like, seriously, you want to talk about resentment, the school of resentment. Y'all have been experts at it for the longest time. And any little pushback, you're like, well, how do we psychoanalyze?
Yeah, it's these therapist type people. It's like you literally borrowed ungodly amounts of money to go learn esoteric jargon to confuse and befuddle people with trickery into convincing them that they have this unpenetrable problem in their brain that only you, with your very nuanced understanding of human psychology, can fix, so that they come to you for years on end and throw you money while you sit and sit over the decline of American mental health. With the proliferation of people going to therapy, it's also an increasing in people that are sad, depressed, and miserable. You're doing the opposite of what you're designed. And so then, of course, these news organizations call these a professional family psychologist.
Right.
And they use their gobbledygook that, of course, they're only smart enough to understand in order to convince you of something.
Now, Mr. Moreland, who's 57 and an architect, are we sure, or is this like a George Costanza architect?
Vandalay Industries.
Vandalay, right.
You want to be my latex salesman. Initially, it was like, are you crazy? Mr. Moreland said, but Mr. Moreland has backed off over time, conscious that trying to discredit his son could keep them from having political discussions at all. Smart. As soon as they're young adults, you don't get to tell them how to think anymore. That's at least some show of wisdom there from the father. Some parents still worry about the kind of men they will grow up to become. Kevin Bromberg, 58, a Democrat who lives in a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina, said he disapproved of Mr. Trump's lack of empathy towards immigrants like his wife. The insults and shock talk that turned Mr. Bromberg off did not seem to alienate his 22 and 20-year-old sons from a previous marriage, who both voted for Trump. It sometimes aren't little details like...
Yeah.
A little more about your family history.
Right.
I don't really want to know it, but Mr. Bromberg says he is happy that they are paying attention to politics at all and has told his sons he respects their opinions. Okay. But a part of him remains concerned that the callousness he sees in Mr. Trump and the Republican Party will find its way into his children. Look, I'm not worried about my kids becoming educated on the issues, he said. What I don't want is for my kids to become these cruel people.
Why is that? Why are those mutually exclusive? Can't being more educated make you have more cruel intentions towards certain people?
I know.
It's like, say,
there's
the more
so
you learn
many
about,
assumptions.
The more you learn about communists, don't you kind of hate them a little more? Just as a thought, like, so there's this weird dichotomy, but it's layers of cultural assumptions that these people never have to prove.
It's like you keep going through some of these things, and like I can't imagine if my father or even my mother, and I, as much as I love my mother, we'd argue about all sorts of stuff because she was kind of the heavy, opinionated one. I guess it's those Polish genes, something like that. But some of the things like a guy named Max Sorokin, 19, said he'd become frustrated with the progressive atmosphere in the Bay Area where he grew up because he felt like people on the left were too quick to cancel anyone who did not agree with them on every issue, correct? His decision to align with Mr. Trump in 2024 was reinforced by what he viewed as the Democratic Party's total lack of interest in trying to court his demographic. They didn't even try to make young men sympathize with him, he said. They sort of ignored him. Max's father, Alexei, usually identifies himself as liberal, but says he has been careful not to impose any political beliefs on his son. He talked to Max about how some Americans are afraid their lives will be thrown into chaos. Yes, chaos. Because of their sexual orientation, their religion, or their immigration status. I told my son, look, you're privileged, said Mr. Sorokin, 44, who immigrated to the United States from Russia with Max in 2013. You don't feel fragile because you're young and healthy and white. Alexei still considers himself to the left of his son, but said some of his own views had shifted, too. In particular, he feels the Democratic Party is far too little tolerance for conversation about ideas that challenge his party orthodoxy. He began to describe what he sees Democrats' eagerness to censoring opposing viewpoints, then interrupted his stream of thought, saying, a lot of this echoes what my son was saying. So, it's a two-way street. We'll see who actually persuades whom. But it's fascinating, this sort of post-election analysis that is being done from every which direction, every which angle. And I find some of this to be like, really? Are you shocked by this? My sons I had with another woman, they're going a different way than me. Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
I think the stats would probably show that to be a regular thing.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
It's like if the boys would have stayed with him, the mom would have been having that conversation.
272-9228. That's 334. 272-9228. This is part of the program, again, brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro, Ashley and that fantastic team are ready to help you out with any and all of your pest control needs. Could be, you hear a little scamper in the kitchen. You're going to get like a midnight snack. Mm-hmm. You hear something like scamper across the floor.
I never heard that. I have Pest
Pro
Pro
You're like, what the heck is this? Like when you open up the cupboard, you're like, what the heck is that stuff on the...
As soon as we got done building our house, the third phone call we made was to Pest Pro Services. I've never had issues like that.
So if you actually get ahead of a problem and call Pest Pro ahead of time, you're not going to have mice.
That's how you do
You're
it.
not going to have the cockroaches. You're not going to have all those, like, you freaked me out yesterday talking about silverfish will eat your carpet.
They'll eat your carpet. I had no idea that was a thing, but they will eat your carpet.
They were creepy enough. Now they're carpet eater.
Yeah, had no idea.
Man, that's just like, the bottom line is insects are creepy, crazy, weird.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to deal with them, make Pest Pro Services your everyday pest control company. Call them today at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or just search for Pest Pro Services on the book of faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the health care of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program, yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway, where right now you can get 1,050 square feet of carpet installed for $19.95, only at H&H Carpets in Montgomery.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. We are not done with the Arctic chill yet. In fact, another very cold night tonight with mostly clear skies. Overnight low temperature down to about 19. Tomorrow's high up near 50 with more sun. That's still way below normal. 29 on Saturday night. Risk of some showers begins on Sunday afternoon, but a better chance Sunday night into Monday with a high both days up to about 55. Will be near 60 on Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in before we close up shop. Yeah, this was a very funky Saturday.
This is a good one.
And I like this one because it wasn't pre-thought out. It's like, let's find a drum beat, start adding stuff on top of stuff.
Good layers. You know how to layer. Like they do at Sweet Creek when they layer those cakes. Joseph's Layer Cake, that's the name of this song.
But we got to stop this music because I like it. It's funky. It makes me dance. I did it myself. But just you see what I just did there? How smug I was. Like and how smug I was reading that New York Times piece.
Have you ever tried like maybe being better? Be better. Be better.
You're making good luck with that. You're making a good point. So I think we need to go back to. We found earlier in the show, if you weren't listening, folks, we found a song. That's
a songbird.
Yeah,
like it.
the voice of a generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Truly. There's Bob Marley, and then there's
Will Ferrell, and then there's this woman, and she's wearing a scarf and a toque, or I guess a beanie. Skull cap. Skull cap. And I'm assuming she's Canadian. That's what I call her too.
Yeah. From Oregon.
And for those who can't, the scarf and the hat are the same pattern.
Oh yeah.
And they're imagine like those like poofy like not yoga pants, but look like something that a shaman would wear that white ladies were obsessed with for like 2 minutes. That's what the pattern is.
And by the way, just as we're describing this broad, listen to our smug white privilege. And thus, we need to listen to her. And I encourage folks, if you're out there, especially if you're a straight white male listening to the show right now, and you are feeling a bit privileged and you are feeling a bit guilty about everything. I mean, just look at how unequitable society is. And like, look at all the advantages you have just on account of your identity. So I think what we did it earlier and we felt better after, right?
Yep.
Let's just sing along. This woman came up with a song for all of us to sing, and let's just do this.
Black and indigenous people of color.
Black and indigenous people of color.
Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer.
Lesbian, gay, bi, transgender, and queer.
Asian American, Pacific Islander. Asian American, Pacific Islander. Latino, Hispanic,
Romani, Creole.
Latino, Hispanic,
Romani, and Creole.
We all have a place in this world.
Now, everybody together. She's going to sing it again.
We all have a place in this world.
Man, those are eyes that are just screaming. I have not felt the warmth of a man since the Clinton administration.
I gotta be honest, I don't smell a hit.
You don't smell a hit?
I don't smell a hit.
That is because your oppressive colonialist nose hairs are blocking the scent of genius.
I mean, like, you can see the screen right there, like what we look like on the stream.
Oh, God.
Do we look like we're on the right side of history?
I'm the palest of all.
I look like I'm the right side of history. If I hit, never mind. Ooh, hey, I was about to wow.
Don't. You start saying Deus, whatever. Deus Volt, excuse me. I just did a spoonerism. By accident.
For the grace, for the might, to the look. By the way, have you ever heard of Sabaton?
No.
It's a I think a Danish or a Swedish metal band that they sing only about like historical events, and they have one about the sack of the Vatican in 1527, and it's called The Last Stand. It's so great. So it's like it's part of like the red pill based Giga Chad sort of movement. Is this new band, and they're not bad.
Well, and you know she lists a lot of people there, but I'm glad you listed more because.
We all have a place in this world.
Do you want to sing along? You'll feel the privilege melt away.
We all have a place in this world.
Is she only wearing one earring?
Shut up, silly woman.
Let's go to line 1. You're on the air. Who's this?
We all have a place in this world.
Nicely done.
Woody.
Way to get rid of that privilege, homie.
You know what'd be funny is right before she's getting ready, right towards the end, somebody just got about 30 yards away from her, running full blast. Just nail her.
Like Derrick
that
Henry.
Would be hilarious.
Well,
like John Lynch with Gruden cheering it on in the background.
Hey, don't play that anymore, man. I'm gonna. Great show today. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you, Woody. See you, brother.
I would like to see just a moose come up and just mollywop that chubby broad.
That'd be great.
Oh,
hey, y'all just go to violence. So
sorry.
quick. Like,
I'm happy with a snowball. A moose is better, though.
Yeah. I love people that don't understand moose.
Oh,
and they
get
try
that
to
whole
play- and they-
sidekick action.
Oh,
Mhm.
gosh.
I love it. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hello?
Hi, you're on there.
I'm a long-time listener and a first-time caller,
Hi.
Hi.
and I can't tell whether I'm on the air or not.
You are.
But,
You are on the air.
So don't say any of those naughty words.
Well, I'm calling about the return to work order by Trump
Yes.
and remarks made by Elon Musk. Since I have a really personal connection with people in the federal government, I'm really I'm so disappointed in that. I don't know what to do. I believe the federal government is too large. It needs to be subject to the efficiency committee. But I think this is what they're doing to federal employees is just unconscionable. These threats to people who have a lot of them long-term employment, many of them dedicated, go to work every day. Many of them have been shoved around after COVID. They're not all in Washington, D.C., and even though a lot of them do work from home, they do work. They are they're checked for when they log in and who they talk to and what the problems are. They have a work schedule, and I find it very offensive. I'm just so disappointed that that's the way that they're going about that. So that's my comment.
Do you think your friends would be all for an early retirement?
Well, they might if they are eligible, but I don't think
That's
they
what I'm
should be
thinking.
forced out.
It might be on offer.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Down the
There
road.
is a possibility.
Yeah.
And there's also a possibility that they could send them to a different location, which they have been doing.
Well, and just the idea here, and some folks get the short end of the stick, obviously. The idea is you are willing to cut the fat so much you might cut into a little muscle. But it's also, the idea is not to be cruel. And I think there's going to be a lot of big changes that are going to affect people in the short term negatively. But I think there's also going to be ways to say people are made whole or say thank you for your service. We're going to make you eligible for early retirement. Some I've heard ideas for severance if you're not anywhere near retirement age. That hey, we'll give you a year's severance. If you find a job within a month of that year's severance, we'll pay you the whole severance as a lump sum. There's a lot of creative ideas they have, but they're going to continue to move in this direction. But
Well, I just think that that what they are receiving, that they really feel threatened, many of them, and I understand. I personally was subject to a buyout when I got close to retirement, and I was offered early retirement, and I took it, and it reduced my retirement tremendously, and I just think there's another side. I wish that they had not. I mean, like Elon Musk came out and said that you should, if you're not working, you shouldn't. You're stealing from the government. I just don't think that is productive, and I wish they had not done it that way.
Well, real quick, if so many of these positions are sort of gratuitous, not really, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, why would these people be entitled to a job? That's not how the normal world works. Why should the federal government be?
I'm just saying that there are many there who are working every day. Some of them are working from home, and they are working, and they are not stealing money from the government. They work, and many of them are dedicated to the work that they do.
But if their work is not work, if it's not deemed fit, if it's not deemed like I said, the whole point of the Doge thing is to cut flipping government positions, programs, etc. If their position is determined to be useless, for lack of a better term, like they in the normal world, you don't have a job anymore, and so why is that different in the federal government?
I don't think it is.
Okay, so then what's the complaint?
I think they're threatening people who do go to work every day, who do what they're supposed to do. I mean, they have a mandate from whoever is in office. The particular department that I do know about is the Census Bureau. They're charged with collecting data. That is their mandate. And how they go about it, whether they are in the office or not, they are performing a duty. And they're not limited to that. I wonder if you know anything about people who approve patents, the patent department.
Well, you're asking someone who believes that the patent department shouldn't exist, so you're not gonna get much sympathy.
And we're not gonna solve all this now because I really am short on time. I do appreciate.
Yeah, I know.
I appreciate you listening to all these, and I really appreciate you calling.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Call back in, please.
Thank you. Bye.
272-9228. Quick break. We'll be right back. Oh crap!
We all
I hit the wrong button.
have a place
But she.
in
Hey, you want to
this
sing?
world.
Wait, gotta wait for the second drop.
We all have a place in this world.
Want to carry News Talk in your
Black
pocket?
and indigenous.
Download the News Talk
People
93.1
color.
app from the App Store.
Black
Available on
and
iPhone
indigenous.
and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
To a clean house? Let Southern Bell's cleaning service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bell's today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bell's Cleaning River Region.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program, real quick, brought to you by River Region Contracting. They're at River Region Contracting. Todd Clark and that team are ready to help you out with that roof of yours, whether it's an asphalt or metal roof. It should be inspected on a regular basis. And here's the great news. If you're looking for that peace of mind to know that roof is all right, the inspections are always free there with River Region Contracting. They're not associated with any other company here in the area. It's River Region Contracting with Todd Clark. And their estimates are always free. Yep. They're accurate. They show up on time. They do great work. Don't leave a mess. They'll sit down with you. Here's exactly the problem. Here's exactly how we're solving it. And they're insurance specialists, so they can walk you through that insurance claims process, make it a swift and easy experience, which isn't often the experience when it comes to insurance claims. Not at all. So again, it's River Region Contracting. Call them up today at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those guys on the radio, sent you. Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm good. I got a question. Are there any ladies in the room with you guys?
No,
just outside the room.
There are definitely some listening, though.
Well, I don't understand this. So Emma Ruth drives back from Blue Ridge last night because she has a haircut appointment. Why can't you just get somebody to cut your hair in Blue Ridge? But more than that, she said it's going to take 3.5 hours to get a haircut. Is she lying to me?
No, she's not lying.
How in the world do you sit in a barber's chair for 3.5 hours?
Wait, do you really want to see your daughter with a buzz cut?
I don't get it. I just, Sailor, we take her down there, and 10 minutes later, she's done.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I still go to like a cheap just walk-in place.
Me too, baby.
Like I don't know what to tell you.
My sister-in-law cuts my hair and she does a great job.
Yeah, my barber's too cute. I mean, she really is cute. Angie, when I get home and my hair's looking fluffy, says, "You need a haircut?" I go in the back and she cuts it for me.
So cute.
By the way, Ray, when you refer to Angie, it always confuses me because we have a mutual enemy that also shares that name, so I always have to do a double check.
Craig, I didn't know you were in there.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Ray? None of the sponsors know that I'm here. I'm usually not allowed to talk to them.
There's a reason.
I get it. If I drop by, they just give me that look like don't say a word. So if y'all need a floor, call us. We'll be open tomorrow 9 to 1. Come out and give you that free estimate. Next thing you know, you got a floor down. Just that simple.
Just call them up at 285-8117. And when you call up 285-8117, be sure to say, "Hey, we heard Ray on the radio with Joey and Eddie and Craig."
Guys, have a great day.
Appreciate it. So we are out of time, but what did we learn today?
We all have a place in this world.
Wait. Let's do it the right way.
Have a place in this world.
Get the beat going,
I sure
Eddie.
hope y'all get this out of your system.
One more time.
We all have a place in this world.
How do you guys feel so guilty? What have y'all done?
I don't feel guilty
I
anymore.
oppress minorities in my free time. That's what I do.
I don't get it. I don't get it, guys.
Yeah, no, that was so liberating. I almost showed off my O-face.
Enriching is what it was.
Yeah,
Spiritually enriching.
Yeah. And on that enlightened note, Greg Budell and Happy Hour. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With That's Already News, I'm John Scott. Thousands came to watch